Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikka Draziv, guys. Welcome to the show. And yes, if you're first time here, do hit that like and subscribe button. Uh, to excuse us for being a bit late today. Yeah, you guys know this daylight saving shit like confuses you up, right? Like things are it's getting darker an hour later, right? So the things according to the light, so all that kind of things. So yep, maybe we're gonna be trying to do it in this time for at least for the spring. And you all know that in the summer I have totally another timetable for our shows. In the summer is quite late, like, right? So yep, that was one of the reason for being late today. And yes, today Gene is not supposed to be. He couldn't make it here today because he's stuck somewhere. So maybe he joins us in a bit here. And yes, we have Sam with us here today. Before I introduce him, get him on the panel. Wanted to say, yeah, this is we have the first impressions of the final experiment mockumentary. So looks like have all the potentials to for a hit piece, right? That's what we wanted to discuss today. If you guys want to join us on the panel, you have the link right pinned up there, so you can do that. And apart from that, I do also want to expand and speak about a clip that Mr. Jiren had uploaded yesterday, trying to grill David Wise, me, and some other people here who have been on this podcast. So yeah, that will be quite interesting too. So yeah, do get comfortable. Do get your coffee, tea, split, wine, whatever makes you comfortable, and let's jump in and say hello to our brother Sam. Sam, how are you? You're muted, Sam.
Sorry, I was saying, how are you guys? Everything okay?
Awesome, awesome, Sam. Awesome. And how about you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Been busy with the Passover holidays. Here in Israel, it's like a big deal. So we went through this, and now we're back online.
Oh yeah. So you took a small uh, a break, right?
Small break,
Required to
small break.
get generated because for
Yeah,
sure these things takes a lot of energy, right? So oh yeah,
we
this
cleaned up
is
everything. It's like crazy. It's a madhouse. Well,
so
but
yeah.
it's okay.
That,
We went through that one more time.
oh yeah, yeah. And relating to that, yeah, the amount of energy and time sometime we have to put in here is just people really don't understand, like, that the effort and energy we put in, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. And I also wanted to mention, before I mention that, let's get warmed up. Let's relate it to today's topic. I'll play a song which goes in with today's topic. So shout out to Mr. Cheswick. And warning, guys, if you're on a good headsets, take care because these beats are awesome. So it might blow up your ears. So we'll warm this up and then yeah, we'll continue. Alrighty.
Sounds good.
Trust me, bro. I'm really knows. Please don't call me fake. Cause you don't know the things I know or how much cash I make. I promise you, my heart is true. Trust in the word that's speaking. Give me a week. Nothing to say. It's for this year to speak.
Oh yeah, Trust Me, Bro by Keswick. Awesome. Yeah, Jiren and Austin thought that they could, right? The people are gonna trust it, right? Too sad that it's not like that. People are not gonna trust. Oh yeah, and yeah, before we even start getting our vibration low with this topic of this TFE and the other thing I also wanted to mention is that yeah, that yeah, a lot of effort goes in all this maintaining and keep doing and all the social media and different platforms, right? A lot of energy. So this is the thing. Gene, for example, also makes some amazing artwork. He's there on Kofi. You can go ko-fi/Gene edited. He does some amazing paintings and some stuff with moon, and it's like yeah, people want to support. You can even have an option to buy him a coffee if you want, like so it's the same way in maybe in reality. If we have met, for sure you would have invited us, or we invited you for a coffee. So there's also an option there on the pages of Coffee Gene Edited, and the same goes for me too. So this is not like we are not here asking people for money for in the just for asking money or whatever. We are charging people to dine with us, or selling some scam shit, right? We are putting it out there, something for the people who really want to support what we do here, because a lot of effort goes into this. I just don't even want to go into how much time goes in all this. All right, so if people really want to support, Gene is there for sure. Sam might have other ways too, and the same goes for me on Kofi, ko-fi/Vikka Draziv, right? We have some stuff there. He have the painting. I have some copper bottles, right? We are not just like, yeah, donate to us, or no. You have never heard us so many times selling things, or asking for donations, or nothing like that, right? If we have something, uh, maybe it's a product, maybe it's a thing that as can go as a souvenir, as a memory, for people who really want to support in some way, because all the social media don't let us really monetize our content, right? It's even though we're not speaking about huge traffic or a lot of followers and subscribers, right? So we, or anybody who does this, I'm not speaking only about me, any content creator who spends so much time in all this, right? So can do anything other shit, speak about aliens, speak about any other shit, and do something with their time, right? It's not that this is all our life. We even have our life, work, family, everything, right? So we have few products, few things. Sometimes we right. So people really want to support their options. So before I present the product, what I wanted to, if people want to support, this is the reason I wanted to mention this. All right. So I let the product speak for itself a little bit. If you guys are interested to support, you can do that. I'm just gonna play this 1 second.
Reason why all the ancients used to wear copper. First of all, before I tell you, you must understand the meridians of the human body. So your body has these meridian lines. It's basically how electrical energy flows through the body through these lines and gives energy to these specific organs and places within your body. Now copper, the atoms of copper vibrate very highly and they give off a lot of etheric energy. So by wearing copper around these meridian lines enhances the flow of energy within your body, okay? So let's say you have a joint pain in your wrist, you'd wear a copper, bracelet, and this will enhance the energy flow and give energy to these bones and meridians, which will help rejuvenate the wrist. Or you can just wear them in general to increase the flow of electrical energy within your body and sync up with a higher consciousness.
Alrighty, so this is the bracelet. It's a magnetic copper bracelet with the design of flower of life, right? So I'm gonna share the link here in the chat. If anybody wants one, amazing stuff. I use, my family and friends use too, right? You can really feel the difference. Apart from all the properties of anti-inflammatory and high conductive energy, right? It has so many different benefits. Like, I don't want to go in so much detail because I don't want to get flagged, because this is one of the most censored thing about, you cannot speak about health stuff, right? So yep, we are electrical beings, right? As I said before, I had a product called a copper bottle, right? Drinking water through a copper. It's an old ancient knowledge of what it can do to our body, right? So the same thing also goes for copper, right? Bracelets, even touching your body can do amazing things, right? It's yeah, energy equilibrium, high conductivity, right? Anti-inflammatory, circulation, and it just goes on. You guys can look. This is my page on Kofi. You can find the bottle, and you can find this new edition copper bracelet with flower of life, right? Get one for you and get one for your loved one. It comes in an amazing, awesome box too. Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's it. That's it. Yep. Before we continue, Sam, anything you want to add, brother?
No, but what I didn't know about the properties of copper, but I know that most of the jewelry today, gold jewelry, like mixed with copper. Like for making 14 carats, 18 carats, it's like 3/4 gold and 25% copper. So copper actually might even help if you have like your own jewelry. But copper is like yeah, I agree. It has property. I never thought about like about the body, but I know it's a very powerful energy transmitter material. We know this copper is one of the best material to transmit electricity. Everything is being made out of copper, and all the electrical cables are made out of copper. I know that the silver is also very good in order to purify the waters. Like if you have like a bottle of water, you put some silver or silver coin, like pure silver into it, and it kills every whatever virus or bacteria or whatever that's not good for the body. It's just going to be like destroyed right away. I know this is one of the things I know, but I'm not an expert. Now, of course, gold also must have properties, but copper is 100%. And yeah, I never made the link between the human body and, but it's true. It's true that the copper is like whoa, it's a powerful
And the
powerful
magnetic
thing.
and the magnetic and the magnet combination with the copper, it's what it makes the magic, right? It's crazy, right? I had another person uh, who was wearing for few days, and the inflammation it had in their leg was just gone,
Wow,
right? Because it's electrical. We are electrical beings. We
I
are
believe it. Yeah,
right. There are go and if you go and look out for more information about copper and its properties, you can see they are putting now copper on everything, on doorknobs, on touching things, especially in these places like all medical places and all this stuff and everything that they're adding copper, because just a touch, right, can just eliminate many things, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's
yeah. We have to relearn everything, all the treasures that Earth gives us. We've been fools for so long that we are totally ignorant on everything that we can use around us. In order to feel better, to fight disease, to fight to help being healthy. There's so many things we have to rediscover. It's crazy. It's crazy. It makes sense. I'm going to check that out. Much deeper, but it makes sense. It makes sense that it should help the body. Wow, it's good work. I didn't see that coming, Vicky. That's good. It's a good
yeah.
project.
Oh yeah, also the copper bottle is there. Yeah, it's this is the thing. We want to have something that the people, if they support, like they have something from us, right? So that is also one of the main reason, right? We are not
Perfect.
they're
Excellent.
freaking
It's noble.
scamming people with crypto and all that shit and paying right? And pay me
This is
this, buy me that, you
this
know?
is what I
Yeah.
call a noble business. It's a noble product. Okay, you take a little bit of money to help us, but you give them something that's like it's noble. It's not like selling cigarettes or alcohol or like whatever, but it's like it's good for people. It's there are things that you can sell that are good for people, and it makes a transaction noble because you selling something that's good.
Oh yeah, and we're not asking just people, yeah, for donations or pay us for this or whatever. Nothing. It has never been like this, right? So it's just so that the people know that if there is something like that, sometimes it's just because the time and energy is there. It's like it's not for, it's not this is not our bread. This is not my bread, right? For sure. This we do for hobby with our time we have, but with time it consumes a lot, right? And many content creator will tell, and that is true, right? It's not just like coming over on internet and
The thing
yeah.
you have to understand sometimes, for example, me to make a video sometimes, a video of like 15 minutes, it can take me like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. By the time you make the video, you don't make money. You don't get paid. So it's an investment, and I tell you something, for me, that's a part of being a flat earther, because knowing about flat earth is not enough to make a flat earther out of you. For example, that guy Mactoon or whoever, all these guys, they also know that the earth is flat. They're not flat earthers for that, because they're just like fighting the idea. They're just like lying about flat earth. So if they lie about flat earth, they know that the earth is flat. So knowing that the earth is flat is not enough to make out of you a flat earther. To become a flat earther, not only you have to understand that the earth is flat, but you also have to invest yourself in order to promote the idea and to spread the truth and fight for it and invest yourself into it. That's what makes a flat earther. This is how you can recognize true flat earthers from like fake ones. So what you're doing here, Vika, forget about the bottle and everything, but all the videos you've been providing, you've been showing us. It's a lot of knowledge, a lot of work, it's a lot of research. It's not just like this. It's just like you have to you have to dig in. I know. It's tough. It takes time, it takes money, it takes effort, it takes reputation. It takes takes a lot. But this is the
Oh
fight.
yeah.
That comes with
uh,
the war. That's the war.
oh yeah, brother. 7 years, bro. That's what 7 years is long time to be on
Yes.
intensive on this, right? It's just
Yes.
so that the people know, right? So it's just that the people know. It's nothing for. Yeah. There's some people who always try to get in here in the studio whom we don't want. Sorry.
Yep.
Alrighty.
I'm starting,
Okay.
also
Yeah.
just to tell you on my channel, I'm also starting like to just like cut short with all the people coming and starting to insult, and I can take anybody who wants to like talk about flat earth that don't agree with me, of course, no problem. But most of the time you see that it doesn't hold much, because they start insulting you and everything. So I just erase them now. Just don't lose my time. Time is precious. We should invest it in more constructive things than just like fight with trolls, like
Oh yeah,
but
because there's nothing to fight with these people, right?
we have
Now we
things to do.
maybe it's that energy. Maybe we can put in some house cleaning, right? Maybe it's more
Spring
productive.
spring cleaning.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So did you all watch the official trailer of the final experiment mockumentary coming out?
No, I didn't do it because I told you before. I just came out from 2 days of Passover holidays in Israel, so it's a big deal, and so I was busy also last week. I didn't have the time, to connect myself. So I don't know. I didn't see, no. I didn't see the trailer. So what's going on? There's a mockumentary now. Who made it? You did? You made it?
No, no, these are the people who are trying to make. But this is the thing. I don't
Oh,
wanna.
you're saying the other side what they're trying to do. Okay, I understand. You call it the mockumentary. I understand. Okay, okay.
Oh
So,
yes. So I
well, we
didn't want
knew
it
that.
to.
We knew that they were
Oh,
about to, working on something. They have to try something.
oh yeah. So at least it's coming out. At least it's there is some signs that yeah, it's not gonna be in next 2 years, but yeah, maybe in next few months we're gonna be seeing the second hit piece, right? I didn't want it to. I don't want to play it because this is the thing. Anything now you play regarding the final experiment, they try to copyright you.
Well,
So Mr. Will
what
Duffy's,
I
yeah.
tell you something, me here I'm in Israel. Fuck them. If they want to show something, I'm gonna use it the way I want, anytime I want, anywhere I want. They can just sue me, and they can try to get to me. Like, I'm waiting for them here. There's no
No, no,
problem. They cannot
it's
do
not about
nothing.
that. It's about YouTube. We don't care a shit.
Oh,
Like,
YouTube can
yeah,
cut
it's
you and
only
everything.
YouTube.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, yeah. You
maybe we should think
already
about
did. Yeah.
alternative, things than YouTube, because YouTube is also, very much, censoring, people. It's also very much, you know, doing propaganda for all these people. So YouTube is not. It's not as popular as it used to be. There are other sites now. Rumble. There's other platforms that can host us much better than YouTube. Maybe you should promote them too. So, anyways, no problem.
Oh yeah, this is the thing, right? They don't copyright you like any strike or something. But even if anybody's showing any other channel, if it have some traffic and it's showing, so whatever it's gonna be that little bit of ad, it's gonna go to Mr. Will Duffy. It's all been thought out, right? First it's not going to show you that it's a similar content, and then after some time it's going to show a similar content. So whatever is anybody, any flat earther channel showing anything related to TFE is getting that, right?
No problem.
So it's a well thought. uh
But you know what? They can try anything. They can try censorship. They can try all kinds of tricks, legal tricks. This only show how desperate they are. They cannot stop that tsunami, that's coming to them. They know it. And again, I believe that we've passed that milestone, that trying to prove us right or prove them wrong. So we can do something. We can also do a documentary on exposing flat earth. Sorry, the exposing the TFE thing, and in order for it to be in the records. But the thing is that there's so many other things we should do. We should think of doing for flutters, like organizing ourselves. We always talked about it, but you know for me, I passed that milestone about like proving myself to them, or proving that they are wrong. There's so many ways to to prove that. I don't know if it's worth investing so much to get into this anymore. I don't know how much time we have, before they go to the next level. So we should anticipate. That's my point of view, anyways.
yeah, oh yeah, it's a series. It's a series, that right. The reason also Jiren flipped is because he has to be in the documentary. Whoever is coming in the documentary, right? It's it was always part of the script, always, right?
But this is, when you think about it, this is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous to see that they have nothing with all the means they have, all the money they have, all the connections they have. They have that entire system of communication, behind them. They cannot come up with something better than that. I don't know, than a documentary, like some kind of it's shit. I don't know. I don't know. For me, it's like it's those people don't know how to fight. They just have means, but they don't know how to fight. They're not fighters. They're just like mercenaries. They're not true fighters. Those, because it's so easy to debunk them. It's so easy to prove ourselves right. We don't have to make any efforts to prove ourselves right, or to prove them wrong. It shows for itself. It sells itself. You know. So again, at one point, we have so much people, with us. We do represent like millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people, and to my opinion, maybe close to 2 billion people now realizing that the Earth is flat. Even though it might include like Glovers that also realize that the Earth is flat and they keep on fighting the idea. But the thing is that we have the potential to just like to take over. It's just like you just have to just grab the whole thing and just we can take over, and they know it. I think they know it. I think we don't know it. We don't realize it. We still don't realize that. But I believe that if we think about it, we're much more powerful, much bigger than what we think, and they are much smaller than what we think. Also, they're much weaker than what
Oh
we
yeah,
think.
Sam, exactly. Because if it wasn't like that, they wouldn't have put in so much effort to
Uh,
try
uh,
to dismantle this, right?
and without success, they don't have any success. With all the means they have, they don't have much success. They should have already just kill that idea, but they can't. They can't stop it. They don't know how to do it. They know how to impose a lie. They know how to lie to people. They know how to create you know masses of idiots, believing stupid things. This they're experts in that, but they don't know how to manage thinkers, people that think, people that reason. All their world, all their lies are based on ignorance and absurdity, like stupidity. As soon as they have somebody in front of them that is not a scientist, but that just makes sense, the whole world, is crumbling. That's why I talked to a scientist last time. I said, you do not represent the scientific community. We are. We flat earthers are the new scientific community, rising again because we are exposing true facts, simply by reasoning with a little bit of science, a little bit of common sense. When all you do is trying to hide the facts and pervert the truth, and so you have nothing to do with scientists, scientific people. You have no right to call yourself scientific community, or you're a bunch of
Yeah,
club of degenerates that just are up there
they're for
because
the
they're cool.
agenda. Absolutely, Sam. They're there for the agenda of the
That's
ones
all.
who
Yeah.
pays the bills,
Yes.
right? The ones who
Exactly.
control where each and everyone is gonna be, right?
It's a
In which
show.
positions. Yeah,
It's a scientific show. It's a show
exactly.
business.
The real science is buried. Yeah.
We are the flat earthers. Remember what I tell you. The flat earthers are the true uprising scientific community in the world. It is young. It is not organized. It is not recognized yet, but it is a fact because we are all talking about science. We are all talking about facts, about truth, and how to understand those facts, how to investigate, and this is what scientists do. So we are doing it with our means for now, with the means we have. So we are still young, we're still emerging, but that is the truth. This is what we are. We can call ourselves scientists, like they call themselves physicists or astrophysicists or doctors, whatever. We can call ourselves doctors too, Dr. Vika, Dr. Vika Dravic, Dr. Sam.
Shout out and Dr. Iron Works.
Yeah,
Shout out to Dr.
Doc-
Iron Works
Dr.
92,000 for that
Dr.
super
Vlad.
chat, brother. There's a link up in the top. Do join us if you can. Oh yeah. So yeah, this is the thing. They have invested a lot of money with this whole TFE, and it's all a movie, and we're gonna see that hit piece coming out. But it's a lot of effort has been put into this, right? Having these guys being part of the script from a very long time, right?
Yeah,
Every time it's gonna be more sure, right?
but
That's what it is happening.
they're doing exactly the same thing that NASA is doing, investing money to make people believe in all their bullshit. Like all the space agencies, are investing so much money to fool, people. But all they are doing actually is just creating, um, idiots, like people that, because you have to be an idiot to believe what they show you, uh and even I say maybe a super idiot, because there are things that simple common sense can prove that there are wrongs. The things that they show you, like the moon landing. A little bit of investigation, a little bit of common sense proves you that they never went to the moon. But you cannot accept that, unless you start investigating and opening your eyes and say, okay, wait a second, I don't take what they tell me for granted, so I'm going to check it out. And most people don't do that because, first of all, they're busy with other problems, they don't have the time for this, and they don't want to accept or recognize the fact that they've been fooled so easily, and to that point, they don't want to. They don't want to, accept that they were that stupid. But this is okay. This is the way you grow up. You have to accept that you were stupid in order to start being smart. You have to realize and to say stop. Okay, I got fooled. No problem. That's a game, but now that's over. And I'm going to start investigating, thinking, and I'm not going to get fooled again that easy. So as we know all this. We've been talking about all this all along. But again, I believe
Yeah.
that Flat Earth now is going to the next level, and it should go to the next level because Flat Earth has the potential to take over. And what I'm saying take over is take over legally, peacefully, intelligently, and we have everything it takes to take over. We have the truth with us, and we have the people with us, and we have the common sense with us. We have the will, the desire. We have everything we need, and they know that. That's why they're very scared of us. They're scared
Oh,
shitless, and I know that.
absolutely, absolutely,
I can
absolutely,
feel.
brother.
I can feel that fear, man. Hmm.
Let's say hello to our brother Vlad. How are you doing?
Much
Dr. Vlad,
appreciated. I'm good. I'm good. Vika, Sam, how's everything, family? Much
what's
appreciated.
up?
Thanks for having me on. Haven't heard from y'all in a little bit. Chat rather, excuse me. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's good. The Jolly Man, I didn't say hi to you or the TP Fact. A couple of y'all in here I didn't say hi to, but I'm glad to see everybody's in here. So you guys are hearing about this. We knew that they were going to make a movie. We knew they were going to make a movie.
Of course. What else
It's
can they
no
make?
surprise. Yeah, it's no surprise. And that's okay. That's fine. We need to make our movies. Really.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
yeah.
We just need to
Agree.
fight fire with fire and
Of course.
just just return fire. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be the same thing. Yesterday I was on with those guys from the Apollo detectives and stuff, and they were making fun of how silly the flat earth is, and my thing was not to sit there and argue with them. It was just to educate them. We don't approach with any malice or anything else like that. People are still receiving cease and desist letters. If you don't know, Marty Leeds just got one the other day. Mark Sargent just sent me that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Marty Leeds. I just learned about this dude a couple of weeks ago, and his, I guess you could say, his minor investigation into those guys doing the whole the Patricia Steers and everybody else doing that there was a scandal they were involved in with crypto. If you guys aren't familiar, right? They were involved in some crypto nonsense. Are you guys familiar with that? I'm sure that some guys in the chat is, but you
Oh yeah,
guys.
oh yeah. That someone was mentioning Lowry, and we also tried to discuss. I don't agree with that a lot, but yeah, maybe it's just another cover up to cover up, right? So
Yeah, nonsense on time, but perhaps. But apparently they were caught up in that. Those guys, Patricia Steers, the Bobby something guy with the orange hair from Canada that does the Truth channel, and Judas. I'm not even going to say his name, but Judas, and all of them, right? And so now, because he pointed out that little scandal that they had, and he had that 3-hour, it was like a tirade on everything that they were involved in, and he offered to have them come up on his show and discuss a few things and to clear the air, right? He wanted to serve as a neutral party. They sent him a cease and desist letter, and now he basically had to conform to that letter. I could send you actually the video just to make it plain. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Mark sent me this. I guess you can say
if you
this
want to
one.
play, yeah, go ahead. You can send
Okay.
here.
All right. So everybody gets to see it themselves. This is it. Let me go ahead. I just paused it. Let me go ahead and share with everybody. I hope everybody had a good weekend too.
Oh yeah,
All
and
right.
and this is the thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
but go ahead.
Yeah. No. I was just gonna sit there and just run my mouth. But go ahead, Vika.
Yeah, till you get the video running. I just wanted to mention just before as you came, right? The
Hmm.
people on TikTok, it's going crazy, bro. This is also one of the reason I think they wanted to ban TikTok because people are fucking oh sorry, people are freaking turning flat earthers on a daily basis, bro. People are going on those live chats and discovering those and coming and debating and people are flipping, bro.
Yeah, they
Like
are. And
crazy. Like
we're not.
crazy.
Yeah, we're not. There's nothing we can do about it because the cat's already out the bag. You know what I'm saying? So people are gonna and that's the thing is, sure we have our channels and we have guys in the chat, very capable people in the chat. I'm saying, guys, make your channels. The more of us there are, they can't stop it. We're just a juggernaut. They just can't. It's that big giant boulder rolling downhill, and they can't stop it. There's nothing that
Oh,
could stop it.
absolutely, brother. And this is the thing. It's also the evolution of the internet, right? Before we had MySpace, it was very slow. We had Facebook, like we had WhatsApp, like just texting, right? And just chatting to YouTube, to Instagram, and now to TikTok. It's a different kind of media, of way
Yep.
of interacting with people. So
Yep.
it's in YouTube, it's a different way. If you have a community, certain people reach you, some but TikTok is different, right? It's a
That's
new
that.
technology. So the algorithms are different. Anybody can just bump into you and like so different way of approaching people, right? Discussions on live, anybody can jump in, right? You don't need like, 1,000 followers or you can go on a live or right.
Yep.
So it's many different. So this is working good for the community
And
for
the
sure. Like because it's reaching, yeah, go ahead, Sam.
no, no. The thing is that also we have to understand something that TikTok also can gather young people because young people is also like important for us. We don't have when you think about it, when the way I sit, out of here, we don't have too many like youngsters among us, like 20 years olds, like 25 years olds. We don't have too many of them. Like maybe we do. I don't, but I don't see them too active. But on TikTok, I know they're very active, and we need
Yeah.
those guys because this is the future of
Yeah.
Oh
the,
yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah.
You
Absolutely, there are. Go ahead. Go
you
ahead.
want to know
I,
what I it's something that I've been saying for quite some time now, but it's about the shame aspect of it, right? It's about the being, kids, well, I don't want to call them kids all the time, but younger people, you know what I'm saying? They're impressionable, right? And so how their peers feel about them and how their peers feel about, I guess you could say, their social makeup and everything else is oftentimes. Now I may be I may not be giving these guys enough credit, maybe I'm not, right? But some of them mentally, they're just, not that they're stupid, but they feel they need that approval from their peers. Okay. And so if they say the truth based off of what is going on around them, they feel that maybe they might feel isolated. I'm praying that this is changing. And kind of like what you said, Sam, you've got that group of misfits in TikTok that can think for themselves and they don't give a damn what nobody thinks. You know what I'm saying? And we need more of that. But still, you still have the shame, you still have the shame aspect in the younger community and even in the old community. And a lot of that was evident yesterday when I was talking to those guys on the Apollo Shills. You have this guy named Jero White, right? And there's Jero White and there's Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen is this photographer that's been there. He's been around he's like 1,000 years old. Not a bad dude, good guy. I respect these guys, right? Because they spent, even though we may not agree with what it is that they've done, they spent a lot of time doing it. So if you're going to invest that much time, I'm going to show you a measure of respect based on your dedication to your craft. Fine. I may not agree with it, but I still show respect. Now I'm talking to these guys yesterday, and I basically farted in the room as soon as I entered their chat. I was like, guys, check out the flat earth. Mr. White, you're being used. I'm sorry. They use you just like they use Hollywood and everything else to get a lie out to the public. And then I left. And then it didn't make them happy. You had a pilot in there that said, oh, well, that flat earth thing is silly. Another guy said that flat earth thing is stupid because I've got a son that's in China going to astronaut school, as if these astronauts aren't liars or anything else like that, right? And so this is how they play that game, right? They sit there, they laugh, they agree with shit that another one person may know a series of things. Everybody else just sits there shaking their head as if they know, have no fucking clue what the hell he's talking about, right? And so I just laid that out there to him. Look into it. You can make fun of us all you want, that's fine, but you guys are scientists. All you need to do is look into it. Just give it the honest freaking college try, right? You had another gentleman that came in there that asked them simple questions, and the amount of anger that was coming from them. They said, well, we know that it's a ball because we could see Jupiter and the gases on Jupiter. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with anything.
So that's the whole point. Are they scientists? They are not scientists.
No.
And that's the point I want to make with them. And I want to tell them that, just like before, they are not scientists. We are.
Yeah, but guys, this is the best part. This is the reason I'm trying to explain the TikTok thing. It's not only about like people and these, right? There are people, veterans. There are people from every walk of life, of every age, are coming up there and telling the truth, or they are going against it and trying to defend the globe, or they're becoming flat earthers, right? On a daily basis. That's amazing, because it's not a schedule live show where you have to prepare to go. No. Maybe you're just scrolling and you see a debate going on or a live going on, and you can just be on the panel instantly. And maybe you are having a rough day, and you just freaking jump on the panel and you're like freaking just saying it out, right? Like, the earth is fucking flat. I was been working here. I'm X this and I'm X that. I'm flying this. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. The amount of professionals and captains and people and pilots and radars and just going on, guys. People just coming in.
Right. That
geologists, PhDs, physicists. It's crazy, guys. So that's amazing.
Yeah. So that's something that I'd also mentioned. I said, hey, talk to the pilots. There are pilots out there that are coming out. And then the guy that was basically running the show yesterday was like, hey, Ironwork, listen, I'm a pilot. And now this is silly, Ironwork, because there's something he's introducing machinery or devices that I'm very familiar with, right? That I had to fly with when I was an air crewman in the Navy. There's something called the inertial navigation system, right? Sure. It's a system. You know what it is? It's a bunch of accelerometers and gyroscopes. And what do we know about a gyroscope? Gyroscopes function, and they function the way they do in space on a flat Earth. It doesn't function on a globe. It just doesn't, right? These pilots aren't out. And I had to tell the chat yesterday. I was like, listen, guys, every single pilot, even this one talking right here, has to agree with that paper, that flight dynamic that says you shall fly the plane as if the earth is flat, because it is. You shall fly the plane as if the earth doesn't move, but doesn't move, because it doesn't. You're not going to fly it any other way. You're not going to fly it as if it's turning. You're not going to fly it as if it's curving. If you do, you're going to wind up crashing the motherfucker. So here's the thing. This is the pure, simple, honest to God truth litmus test for every single pilot. You have to ask them, is the earth flat? How do you fly this? How do you fly this plane? As if the earth is flat or if it's a globe? Because here's the thing. And you better have that. Here's another thing. If you're going to go on a flight, have that flight dynamic at your disposal. You have that piece of paper at your disposal, and you're like, how are you going to fly this plane? And then you better wait for their answer. If they give you, we're flying it like it's a globe, be like, I don't want to fly on this plane because this pilot obviously isn't qualified to do his fucking job. This pilot obviously doesn't understand this thing that he made a promise to say that I would fly this plane such and such a way. Basically, we've got these guys at checkmate, and there's no other way that they can slice it. And people fly. Right? People get on planes. People pay for tickets to get from point A to point B. There's no other way around it. So this is going to be their litmus test, the flight dynamic. How are you going to fly this plane, sir? How are you going to fly the plane? And if they tell you anything otherwise, well, that's a problem. And that's a big concern. So I land my plane with that. But I have the video right here, guys, if you guys want me to go ahead and burn that. So
Yeah,
there it
go
is.
ahead. It's on the screen.
Yep. Oh, also what I could do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy that. I'm going to drop it in the chat for everybody to go ahead and chew on. Boom. And I'm also going to put that in the private chat, guys. Boom. There it is. So that's it. That's Marty Leeds right now saying his thing. Okay. I'm driving.
Hey everybody, Brother Marty Leeds here. Just want to let everybody know that I, Brother Marty Leeds, never intended to claim as fact and withdraw any statements that may have been implied to do so, that Paul Lindbergh, otherwise known as Paul on the Plane, Robbie Davidson, and Patricia Steer were involved in illegal or fraudulent activity, that they committed SEC violations or were under criminal investigation or could face prison, that they participated in a rug pull, scam, or crypto fraud, or were blackmailed, coerced by the government, or threatened with prison or family loss, that they were offered deals or are now controlled by outside powers, that they knowingly lied to the flat earth community, that they colluded or conspired, to mislead others, and that their return to the public scene was part of a coordinated cover-up. All parties understand that my video on these matters was never intended to be malicious, and that video is now taken down. So, all right, thank you very much. God bless everyone.
Well, I guess that is that's all right, that is what it is. All right. That's Marty Leeds saying that was actually from Paul on the Plains channel, that right there. So what you guys have is not from Marty Leeds' channel. That's from Paul on the Plains' channel. All right. If you guys are going to watch that, obviously he was reading from a statement that you guys saw right there on the side. He was reading that thing verbatim. And yeah, he's basically waving that white flag. He's no longer going to talk about their situation, and I guess he retracts all the full statement. We know what it is, man. We don't. You know what? If that's what they did, that's what they did. The Earth is still flat. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's no leader anywhere. That it's still fucking flat. It just sucks that those guys. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, that's the war. This is again, the Earth being flat is not even the subject. It's not even linked to flat Earth. The shape of the Earth is not even. That's almost nothing to do with flat Earth. Flat Earth, for me, to my opinion, it's a part of a much wider war that's going to take everybody in it, because it's going to expose the lies on all over the place, all over the plane. That means that look at what we're talking about. We're not talking about just the shape of the Earth. We're talking about lies at all levels. We're talking about the food industry, the thing, because it's all linked. People lying about the shape of the Earth are also responsible of all the other fucking lies that there is, on Earth.
Yes.
So automatically, flat Earth. We are saying flat Earth because we are all living on Earth. Everybody. So it concerns everybody. So the truth about the Earth concerns everybody. You cannot just say, it doesn't concern me. Yes, it does, because you live on Earth. So the thing is that it's just like, for me, a way to tell that the entire world, we are all concerned. We are all in the same, spot. We are all in the same situation. We are being lied to. We are being misled, and we have to react. And that's what flat Earth is about. It starts with the shape of the Earth. That's okay.
Right.
But it's much bigger than that. And this is why this explains why these people just don't lie, but also spend so much to lie. This is, what blew my mind in the beginning, because when I realized that NASA was lying, I said, wait a second, but how much does it cost them to lie? So what's the point? What's the point of spending so much money to lie? It's like just, it's crazy. And then you understand, of course, that they have to spend so much. It's normal to enforce such lies to so many people for so long. Of course, you have to invest so much.
Absolutely.
Just
it's so effective. It's so effective. And what sucks is when you see the people out there, like you have the channels that obviously pine for the globe, and they get monetarily awarded, right? My thing is this: that money is recyclable.
Yeah, of
So
course.
they give it to you, and then it's like a fishing lure. They give it to you, and as soon as you're like tools to them, as soon as you're useless, they break their tools.
Of course,
And
of
so
course.
you know what they do? They take that money that they were giving you, and then they just either they take it all back, or they kill you. They wipe you and your whole everything, your whole existence out, and then they take everything that they were giving you, and then they give it to
Exactly.
somebody else to do the same thing, just a lot better and a lot more efficient. So these guys, it's like, look, the same people that lied to us about, the shape of the earth, it's the same people that lied to us about the moon, it's the same people that lied to us about the cocoa. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's the same people that lied to us about 9/11 and everything else. So it's like these people that come up with the globe nonsense that are making these movies, like, it's sad, but they're so spiritually lost.
Of
They're
course.
so
And the thing is that their masters do not respect them. They respect us. They
yes,
respect the true people. And that's what I don't understand. The people they work for, they hate them. And they use them like expendable assets. They don't give a shit about them. Just use
Yeah.
like them like material, like raw material. They don't care about them. But they respect, and they do respect us, because they see us fighting with not too many means, and we have the truth with us, so it's respectable. What we are doing is respectable, is honorable, and it
Yeah.
forces respect, but not from the guys we are fighting at our levels, but from the big guys behind that are fighting at their levels. And this is the thing is, it's like, for example, okay, I don't want to go political, but for example, what the Arab world doesn't know, that Iranians hate Arabs. They're not Arabs. They're Indo-Europeans, and they hate Arabs. You have no idea. They don't give a shit. They will send, rockets into Israel, but also into Arab territories. They don't give a shit about killing
They don't
Arabs.
care, right?
Yeah, but
They
how
hate
old
them,
is
and
yeah,
they're going to
Tam,
use
but
them against us. But they hate them.
how old is that kind of thing, right? With the with the Persians, and yeah, it's always
Persians are Europeans. They're not. They're Europeans
They
that
think,
came from Europe, and they mixed up with local people there, and they play like they're like Arab style. They like have Arab language and everything. They play it like, but they're not. They're not this. They have no the Arab mentalities. By digging like underground, like secret bases. This is like a German mentality, like make secret bunkers underground. Arabs don't do that. Arabs, they just want to control the land, and they're gonna just like stay like for like thousands of years. They won't move it one stone from one place to another. That's their
it's
character. That's their
crazy.
nature.
It's
It's not their
crazy.
nature to dig underground and fucking
Yeah,
like
it's
like
crazy when
conspire.
you look at if it's crazy just looking at the Persian Gulf and you just see that separation of water, the difference between what's going on down in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all those countries down there, and then up above you've got Iran, right, and all those other countries, and just how they operate, and just seeing the difference in mentality also. But I mean, that's a thing that I don't know why it is the way it is,
Well,
but I mean,
it's
in general, just like the fuckery going on with this whole flat earth thing. I think the most important thing is us to just keep delivering the truth, raw, unadulterated, just the way it is, right? And then my thing is just keep delivering it. Let them figure it out. Let them figure it out, whatever it is, however they want to figure it out. Because I guess coming into this whole thing, just the delivery of the flat earth, I was excited, but at first I approached it the wrong way and trying to force people into it. Now it's like I don't have to force people into it, but definitely I want to get it in their lap. I want them to see it, like, for however long they see it, or however which way they get to see it, they need to see it. After you see it, now you could, if you want to keep making fun of it, fine, keep making fun of it. At some point you're going to come across something to where you're going to have to revisit it, and whatever decision you make from that point on, that's all on you. But people have to see it, people have to hear it, and they have to see it and hear it, basically, like, if you can, if it's possible, in its entirety. Basically just hear us out, right? Saab, what's going on, man?
What's happening, Vlad?
I'm chilling.
How you guys doing
What's
today?
up?
Chilling.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. So I've been trying to get some of these people onto this. I think this is a fundamental thing, because one of the things that gets me is I like to ask these people, right off the bat. I'm like, now, if you had never been told that what you're standing on is a sphere, what would ever make you even start going into the direction of that thought? Let's just suppose nobody had ever told you, hey, did you know that you live on a globe? Because that's how we all heard it. We didn't think it. We never looked and said, hey, why are we on a globe? Can you explain that to us? Nobody ever did that.
We're converted.
They had to tell it to you and then give you all these little nonsense things to reaffirm it with. And one of the biggest ones is because I'll ask them, and if they're honest, if you're absolutely honest, there is no observation or experience in your life that would ever lead you into the direction of thinking that where you stand is a sphere, much less that it's moving. Okay, this had to be told to you, but they'll always jump on sunset. I'm like, all right, let's take that. Let's say sunset. That's the observation. So you're bebopping along. You've been milking the goats. You've been milking the cows. You've been tending the fields. Nobody's ever told you any of this nonsense. And based on your observation of sunsets over a period of time, you go, hey, I think I must be standing on a moving ball. Does that correlate? Not a bit. No one would ever come to that idea at all. At the very simplest, it'd be like, wow, I wonder where the sun lands at. But then knowing through experience that objects in the sky only appear to get lower as they move away from you, you'd probably dismiss that. And knowing that you've never seen water convex around anything, because the milk bucket, when it gets full, it runs over, right? It doesn't just start bubbling up over the top.
Right.
So no thinking human being can come to that conclusion.
No,
you can only come to that conclusion if you are converted to that idea, like if you are, forced. Because as soon as you start thinking, you realize that it's not true. You understand? So you can only accept it when you don't think. When they do the thinking for you.
You can hear it from these guys these days too, where they're like, "Well, it doesn't make any sense why it would be flat." I'm like, what? So they're like, "It doesn't make sense. It has to be a ball," and I'm like, "What?" Like, man, like that's how deep it is. That's how strong the delusion is.
Yeah,
they're like, it has to be a ball because this all works. And I'm like, man, we're fucked. Like,
well, and if it's
really
so obvious, then why do you have to keep reaffirming it? Why do you have to keep reaffirming it? Why was there a final experiment? If somebody said, hey, the earth is actually the back of a giant zebra, I would consider that for about a half a second and just move along, right? But they got to constantly reaffirm it. And that's what I was getting on, was this documentary, that they weren't going to be making a documentary. That's not why we're doing it. It's only so that we can find the truth. You remember how that lion scumbag snake said at the very first with the final experiment? Remember? He said he just wants to settle it once and for all. And they said, no, you're going to try to make another mockumentary hit piece. No, that's not what we're doing. Well, here we are.
The thing is that,
a year later,
a lot of globers and everything might not understand, basic truths. But I believe that on our side, we also have things to understand, because we also have to manage the truth and manage these people, in front of us, because, those lies are like a disease. We have to know how to handle it. And that, understanding the truth is easy for us. We're thinking, we have a little bit of common sense, we understand the truth. Then to serve the truth, to communicate the truth becomes harder. This is where we are we're having difficulties. So I believe there is still things that we have to understand in order to know how to manage this powerful tool there that's called the truth. And that I'm not sure that we are still, we are ready yet to how to serve that, because we still have problems. We still have problems into enforcing the truth to everybody. Of course, we don't have the means that they have. We don't have the millions of dollars. We don't have the the TV with us and the governments with us, of course. But again, we should think a little more of how to handle that, how to heal all these people, how
Well,
to make them
nature-
understand they're sick and that they have to take that pill there.
Nature in itself does it. So before
Yes.
you want to come into me and start talking about having magical ships that go up into space and the land of Narnia and all this other nonsense, hold on a second. The one thing you cannot demonstrate using the scientific method is a dynamic fluid pressure system without physical containment.
And of course.
Okay, you're never going to be able to demonstrate that. That violates the laws of nature. That violates physical possibility. And just because you scream gradient doesn't make it possible.
But
Okay.
but this is the war. They're fighting nature.
Yes.
They are fighting nature by lying. They're trying to demonstrate that nature don't work.
Right.
So this is a war against nature, and you're going to see that it's going to go. All these people that are lying about flat Earth are lying about everything else, and everything else. Their fight is a fight against nature. It's a spiritual war. It goes way behind flat Earth, and this is
now going on the Apollo detectives. That's what it is. Apollo detectives. You guys are familiar with it, right?
Yeah,
Marcus Allen and all that. Going on that show yesterday, I was happy to be on that panel. I was like, good. Finally, these guys, I can get this information to, because I look at it like this. I'm like, if you're going to invest your time, so much time in the lie, and you've learned so much about their system, imagine how effective a mind like that could be if it was given a dose of the truth. If they had an idea as to what the truth was, right? And they decided to move forward with that same energy that they give to the lies. My thing is, they've already got the people behind them, right? Whether that whole group of people follow them after that is whatever. But my thing is just how they effectively communicate that bullshit. Imagine how dangerous they would be if they were delivering the truth, right? So my thing is, I'm dropping the truth in their lap. I'm not going to sit there and talk shit with them, right? I'm not going to have a battle of wits with them, because my thing is that the truth, my truth, or just the truth, it's like a stone that withstands time, and doesn't matter what happens, that stone will be there. Their truth is built on sand, or their lies is built on sand. So I drop it in their lap. Marcus Allen doesn't have much time left on this earth, and I'm like, if anybody should see it, it's this guy. Right? Yeah. He's like 1,000 years old. He's 1,000 years old. He's a very staunch, fighter against the whole Apollo missions and everything else. My thing is, hey, here's the truth, man. Do something with it. Yeah. You guys have the truth now. Move forward with it. Get out of these lies. Start delivering the truth. And I think that their research would be something amazing for everybody else, and it would carry them into a place that they probably would never have imagined, but they're afraid of letting that lie go. They're scared. They're scared.
Yeah,
tell how angry that they were getting yesterday.
The implication.
And everybody else.
It's a part of them now. It's a part of them. The lie is a part of them. It's like the cigarette. Like the guy who smokes, that is cigarette is a part of you. You cannot throw it away. It's tough. Very tough.
Oh yeah, guys. I wanted to play because I cannot play the video. I wanted to play this. I'm gonna play the audio. All right, so we don't get a copyright shit. Because all right, I'm gonna play. Tell me if you guys don't hear it. Okay.
Okay.
I can't find any.
Not hearing nothing.
All right, you guys can hear it.
Sounds like EVP, man.
It's like a message from outer space.
All right. So I can play it. Yeah, you saw it, Did you see the trailer?
Yes. Yes,
Total Hollywood production. Total Hollywood production.
Yeah, of course. That's what I said. That's what we all said it was going to be. And much to Duffy's protest, that it wasn't going to be that.
Oh yeah, and the cameos of the people. We see who all coming. Jiren is there for sure. Liz is there. Yeah.
You don't see Witsit.
Maybe he's gonna have a special appearance.
I don't know. I did notice that because you see everybody in the trailer, but you don't see Witsit. Real quick before you show
we don't.
that,
Nobody in the chat hears the sound. Nobody.
We don't hear
hears
the sound
anything.
and we don't see the picture. We have nothing.
No.
I wanted to show you this little thing I picked up the other day. These are pretty handy to have.
What is that?
What do you mean? The live is cut or something?
Ah,
Okay, so this level is for flat surfaces.
Yeah.
Okay, it gives you an X and a Y. Okay, you got this direction and this direction. Now, according to the globe people, level is only a tangent point, right? So where I place this on like a stovetop to level it or a washing machine to level it. If I level it here on this spot, if I move it over to another part of that surface, is level going to change? No. So what you have to understand about a point is not physical, it's imaginary. And so a point doesn't have any area. There is no size, there is no area to that point. So I want you to imagine that I put this onto a stove over here and I level that stovetop to be level. Now, according to the globe people, that's a tangent point. But then I level another stove right over here, 8 feet away. 8 feet away. And I level it using this same device. They're both the same height. Now, supposedly those are two different tangent points to corroborate with the center of the globe, right? But if I lay an 8 foot long level across both surfaces, I get level. Now what am I doing? I've got a tangent point in the middle.
mm-hmm.
Is that what we're supposed to believe? No, that's impossible because there can only be a point on an arc. There cannot be a line. The tangent line is an imaginary line. It doesn't really exist.
So that point in the middle, I know they assigned it a name. But that hump, I guess you could say, of land or water, whatever you want to call it, in the middle. Don't they have a name for that? You know, away from point A and then point B, whatever the target is.
I don't know if I would say that would have to be the apex of that arc would be the high point, the apogee, if you wanted to use that term or whatever. But the reality of it is that level is a line. Lines and arcs are different. Lines and arcs are different. I can have parallel lines. Arcs are concentric. They're not parallel. They're concentric. Each one above the previous arc has to be a wider radius than the one below it. Parallel lines, I can take 6 lines exactly the same length and put them parallel with one another, and there's no deviation at all other than the distance that I put between the lines. That's it.
Yeah, man. These guys, it doesn't matter what it. These guys they're so lost. Just keep dropping the truth. And now they got this movie. I'm like, wow.
I deal with level all day long, every day. All day, every day. I deal with level and plumb all day long. Square, level, and plumb. Boom. That's what I work with. Those are 3 cornerstones of my trade. You're not going to come along and tell me that those are the tangent points of an arc. I'm sorry. It's just not going to fly.
So I believe that flat earth is acts like a filter. It's going to separate, humans or people that want to think, people thinking using their brains, and idiots. This is going to be, the point of flat earth. I don't believe we will be able to convince everybody, and I don't think we should. I think we should just convince the best of us.
It was a globe. They convinced everybody that it was a globe, despite having actual physical evidence of it.
Yeah, they got me. They got me. That's for sure.
Yeah, but it doesn't work on their side. Doesn't work, but on ours it might work. That means that in order for us to convince the entire world, I believe that we should first concentrate into convincing the best of us, the best of the people, the ones that care, the ones that think, the ones that are still human somehow. Those are the ones I'm after. The other ones are dead for me. It's like talking to the dead people. I'm not a necromancer. I cannot, just talk to the dead. It's
and
forbidden.
They don't understand. I think what it is also is that they don't understand the urgency behind understanding why the Earth, the condition, the I guess the constitution of this Earth is important. That's what it is that a lot of folks are like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for anything. I still need to do these things. And really, that's what, like, what's the motivation? What is somebody else's motivation as to why they need to learn it? So that's why so many people are like, and I guess a lot of us would call them NPCs, because they're like, it doesn't matter. They're like, flat Earth doesn't matter for anything. And that's probably one of the most important things, is to make them realize that it's the skeleton key. It's the skeleton key for everything else, damn near. That the other stuff that didn't make sense before, if you get this, it'll start to make sense. But people don't see the value in it.
Yeah, but the thing is, are they guilty for doing so? Because I tell you something, today knowledge is spread all over the place. So people that don't understand or don't want to understand, somehow I don't see them as, like, just victims. But as soon as they hear about flat Earth, they should check a little bit. They should dig with a feather and find out that find out the truth. So people that don't even want to take the time or the energy to just, like, check it out, I think they're guilty. I don't see them like as innocent people. Today, everybody wants to understand things. They can understand everything. You have knowledge is everywhere. So that's why I'm saying, well, in that case, I see them as guilty. Say, okay, that's their choice. Goodbye. You don't want to understand. You don't care. You don't think. Okay, that's your choice. Bye. Let's concentrate on those that still want to, to understand. That still care. That still have, like, some spark. They're still, like, burning.
Right,
inside.
but they don't know what it is, like, because I think that's where I was, right? I was looking for something. I just didn't know what it was I was looking for, and I was frustrated.
But you moved on. How did you move on? Why did you move?
Right, and so that's what it was you have to, and I hear what it is you're saying, and there are many of those out there, especially because with the way things are. A lot of people are very uncomfortable, so they're looking for something.
I tell you something, Vlad. When you think about it, these people that don't understand that the Earth is not a globe and everything. Well, they have enough brains to go to the supermarket and to know what to buy, what's on sale, what's not on sale, what's the best product to buy, what's where to place their money, and what to do at work. They have a brain for that, and it doesn't take much more brains than that just to understand that the Earth is not a globe. So they have the means to understand. It's not that they're stupid. They're like, they're not. They have everything it takes to realize that. The things that they don't want to, or they just, and at that point, again, they are guilty. They are guilty because, they should care. They should double check things, and they don't. We also were like them, but the difference is that we check things and we invested ourselves into understanding. We did our job. We did our part as human beings. This is what human beings are supposed to do, to understand, fight.
It's
lies.
like thinking is hard, right? Thinking for yourself is freaking hard for the people, for the majority. People prefer to be in that 9 to 5 shit, do their slavery, go be weekend during the weekend, gets wasted, and back to the circle, right? That's right.
But
People have to maybe take few lifetimes until they start questioning, who the fuck am I? What am I doing here? What is my purpose here?
Yeah, but if they have enough brains, to know where to buy potatoes, where to buy tomatoes, and not to spend more money here and spend over there because it's cheaper. If they have that kind of brain, because they all have, that level of intelligence, it's enough. That means it's not that they're not stupid. They have everything it takes to understand that
they're just putting up with it till it's over. That's like what they're doing. They're just putting up with it till it's over. And that's no way to live, sitting there cowered down with a storm over top of you.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and it's all in the wording too, subconsciously. What they do with wording. For instance, we call Monday through Friday what? Weekdays. Week. That's where you were working in your week, right? And then at the end, what do we call that? That's the weekend. You rejuvenate, right? And then back into the weekdays again.
You got time for yourself. And they give you 2 days, like it's time for yourself. There you go. Here are your 2 measly days.
Yeah. You've earned it. They say. You know,
You know what I believe? I believe that somehow these guys that have all it takes to understand basic, logic, basic common sense, that the Earth cannot be curved, that the Earth is not a globe. It's not about like a lack of understanding or lack of intelligence. I believe it's a subconscious fear because they know somehow that by accepting that, that truth, and that by recognizing, such a big lie, they're gonna have to recognize all the other lies behind it. And somehow they know it. It's a fear. I think it's a fear of the consciousness. It's a fear to be
Hmm.
conscious because they know that somehow if they accept that, they're gonna have to dig deeper and they're gonna have to,
They
you
got,
know,
yes,
uh,
you got to do your
put their
homework.
world upside down. Somehow they understand that it's a fear. It's like, oh, just leave me
Yeah,
alone. I'm good the way I am. Just leave me alone.
well, they
yeah.
do it to us with our own words, our own language all the time.
Yeah,
Like, for instance, I was thinking about this the other day. We call different ethnicities race, but outside of the context of ethnicity, what is a race? It's a competition. It's a competition to be first, right? So automatically, by referring to ethnicities as
race.
a
Okay.
race, puts it into the context of it being a competition. And this is why people in their different races try to separate themselves like they're on a racing team, trying to be the ones ahead of the everyone else. And it's like,
Really
no,
good
we're all
point.
in this together, man.
That's a really good point.
It's
Used to
called
be
a
nation.
race.
Used to be
It's
just
called
nation.
a race, right? Exactly. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead,
Keith is
Vlad.
in the house. Keith, what's happening? Aloha from Florida, y'all.
Hey, aloha, guys. I'm traveling
Yo,
from.
what's up, Keith?
All right.
Hey, doing well. I'm out in California visiting one of my kids, having a good time. But I'm gonna mute up,
Nice.
Be
listening.
careful. I heard they got communists out that way.
Yeah, you're probably accurate with that statement.
You got
Those
them
are
reds
everywhere
out
now, aren't they? That's almost everywhere nowadays, I think.
there. Oh, man. Well, then that comes from the inability to think for yourself and wanting everything to be provided to you. I had a guy, his proof of a globe and that there's outer space is go on Google and Google selfie from space. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. This is like, wow.
It's to,
What
to
are you
embrace
doing?
lie, to embrace lies, to embrace, what's fake, to make them love what's fake, and to make them hate what's real. This is a war. This is a spiritual war. Spiritual.
Yeah. Yeah. And it kind of to go off of what you said, Saab, man, and the language, not only the language, man, it goes deep because I'm even looking in the direction that we write. I'm like we're writing from left to right,
Whoa!
but you have right, and I'm just like,
Don't start with me
I'm
on
like,
that one.
right. I'm thinking, I'm like, is this the right? Is this correct? We're writing
And
from left to right. We're reading from left to right, but the sun, I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay, let me leave that alone because maybe
but
my mind just ain't ready
but
for it yet.
even more than that, every country, every nation uh, honors its founding fathers or the guys that made the revolution or the whatever, and they have statues and history books. But what's funny is that nobody ever honors the people that created the language of the country. Like, for example, the Latin alphabet, you have the A, it's like this, the B, you have the Japanese alphabet, you have the Hebrew alphabet, you have, who created all that? So people have the impression or the belief that in the Babel Tower, God created all the languages, which is totally false. It's not written this at all. It created misunderstanding in between them, but he didn't create the languages. Languages were not created by God. Japanese, English. Who created that? Who made those languages? It's very important. Language. Makes the people. It shapes the people. The way you talk, the way you speak.
Right.
It's very
We
important. So
speak, yeah, we speak in stars, Sam. We speak in stars. It's just the sounds and the frequencies what we are speaking, right? Every alphabet comes from a sound, right?
Yes,
In the
exactly.
beginning, it was the sound,
But,
it was
but,
the word, right?
yeah, but for example, the Arabs do not pronounce the letter P. They don't have the P in their language. They
Oh
have
yeah, but
they
it's just
replace it with the
variations. Oh
B.
yeah, brother, for sure. There are some languages have maybe 3 times the alphabet and different sounds and combinations, right?
It has to start with sound, but when you want to image the sound, if you want to write down the sound and put an image to the sound, so who created this? This is also nobody's going to tell you. They're going to tell you, we don't know, nobody knows, but it should be
Well, there
important to
again,
know.
in the language we use, they treat us as though we're dead, like we're dead, we're zombies. Okay, what do we do in the morning? What's the first thing you do?
Good
You
morning.
wake up,
Go.
right? What is a wake? It's a
wave.
visual for the dead,
Right.
right? So you got a visual for the dead, and then we see another person, and what do we say to them? Good morning. 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 Isn't that something you do for the dead? Everything is about that. Even your court system, when they summon you into court, you summon spirits. You don't summon people. That's not how that works. It's all in the language. We take it for granted, but we're really placing ourselves into the box that they want us to by not really consciously being aware of what we're doing, what we're saying, everything provided to us thinking that the puppet show they present to us, the allegory of the shadows in the cave, Plato's allegory. That's exactly what we're dealing with right now. Is that people are looking at the shadows and not seeing reality.
RG's in the house, y'all. RG the artist.
What's up?
How are you? How are you? Good morning. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. Yeah, aloha from Georgia. Yep. Good day, man. I am still in your line. Aloha. Yeah. Hey, just to answer Sam, if you don't mind, about the language and how it ties into different things. I think it directly ties to geometry. And this can be shown through cymatics. I was just looking at a thing last night about the bells and bigger bells, smaller bells. Regardless of its size, these people had it all figured out because if you ring these bells next to a plate of sand, I mean, they all form some type of symmetrical geometry, right? But and then you put on like modern day music, and it just looks all distorted. There's no so you're not really getting any value. I think geometry is somehow.
Yeah, but in that case, everybody should have the same language because geometry is universal. So they don't have the same language. They don't have the same forms of letters. Those are different forms. There's like lots of alphabets, different alphabets.
Well, when you hit
geometry.
certain notes, I think because they used to say Hebrew, you had to kind of sing, like if they were stretching it out.
Yeah. We can sing in all languages, in Arabic and everything. Is you can sing. The thing is that, for example, I tell you in the again, I'm going to come back with the Bible. But you see, for example, when the guys came out of the arch. So it is said that okay, that guy, made that son and another son. But the thing is that, for example, about Canaan, it is said, and out of Canaan came out the Chinese, the Iraqi, but it doesn't talk about like people. Maybe talk about languages because I don't know how it's translated, in your language. But the populations you can think it talks about populations, but actually it might talk about languages. Maybe you can form languages before you form a population. You have to form the language in order to shape the people the way you want them shaped. So I don't know, but the language is a big deal. It's a big deal. It makes you. For example, the thing, in Hebrew or in French, we have male and female things for objects. Why? Why does
in Spanish? Also in Spanish, bro.
So I tell you about what I believe I understood is that it's about a function. Female takes, male gives. Sometimes in the Bible, the son is considered female. Sometimes it's considered male, because at one point he's going to give, at one point he's going to take. Give, take what? I don't know. Like even God, sometimes we talk to him as a male, sometimes as a female, because sometimes we want him to give us, so he's a male. Sometimes we want him to take, so it's a female. So it's technical, you understand? So a glass,
Psalms
for example, glass is
Psalms
female.
19:2 says the same. Does
Ye-
Psalms 19:2
ye-
functions that same exact way, describing
ye-
how the sun and the moon work,
so now
providing and taking.
look at the wisdom. The earth in Hebrew is female, is not male. So why you gonna think? Wait, but the earth gives because it gives you like fruits and everything. No, according to that language, the earth only takes. Just when you drop something, it just goes. When everything goes to the earth, it doesn't give you even a fruit or a plant that comes out from the earth doesn't come out from the earth because without the sun, without the water, won't come out. So the earth doesn't give. The earth takes.
It's probably like it relate in the correlation with like magnets and electricity. When they were, that shows
Everything is
their
open.
individual properties like magnetism, electricity, but then
It's possible.
together that's that electromagnetic forces.
Like a
Yeah.
tree.
Go ahead.
A tree is smell. Its function is to give. A tree gives. That's its nature. So that's important to understand those things. If it's true, of course, so that's important to understand the nature of things, the inner nature of things. So the language is very important, very very important.
Yeah, as far as I understand, it all comes from the start. Same like the mathematics, the way we can do everything comes from the start. The time comes from the start. Like we follow the star for the time, we follow the star for the numbers and the Fibonacci sequence and everything. The spiral, the pi, everything comes from the above. We try to interpret in our sounds and language and symbols and right, but it's all it's all related. Absolutely, guys. I also wanted to play what Mr. Judah, how how Iron works, our brother likes to call him. So he had shared a clip yesterday. It's a very interesting clip. I would like to play. Guys, who's hot micing, guys? Someone
It's
is
probably
someone.
me.
Let me go ahead and mute. Okay, it's not me. Thank God.
Alrighty. Alrighty. So stop me anytime if you guys want to add something on that, or right. It's I like to have take from the input from the people on that too. It's quite an interesting clip. I don't know, maybe some people have seen it, maybe some people not. So let's see if we can. Okay, please mute everyone.
I said, "Count me out. Don't ever email me again. I'm not interested." But
Nice.
but the fact that if they didn't go, who would go, and then what would happen?
Courage to do something like that. They're kind of alone,
Forward. So this is just from a video that I think Vikka Draziv he did a couple months ago, but this is before the test, before the experiment.
Courage to do something like that. They're kind of alone,
But you know what? The thing is, we all got sucked into this from the beginning. We gave it attention from the beginning.
Right.
Which from the first email, I said, "Count me out. Don't ever email me again. I'm not interested." But
Nice.
but the fact that if they didn't go, who would go, and then what would happen? So
Yeah,
at least we know we have two solid guys that are going to get real information, and that are 0.0% chance that they are going to be corrupted or lie.
Right. 0.0% chance that I am corrupted or lie. But because I came back with results that you didn't like, now I'm corrupted. Now I'm a liar. Now I've been sold out. I mean, it's just so obvious. It's so obvious. 0.0% equals a lot of percent, really. It's just, you can say 0.0 when you mean like 40% or 50% chance. Just say 0.0. Dave, you are a piece of work, my friend. Let's keep going.
Vikka,
0.0, guys. 0.0.
Okay. Now,
right, that's true.
Vikka, could you
I
pause
wonder
real
about
quick?
what their parameters are going.
Now,
Go ahead.
I don't know when this was filmed right here. I don't know when, but what I find funny is that well before Jiren even left, people started finding his whole stance on things fishy. He didn't even leave for the trip yet. People found his whole stance fishy. You know what I'm saying? So nothing happened yet, and people were just looking at him mad suspect, like, yo, what's your deal? What is your problem? Why are you saying what you're saying? Why are you acting the way you're acting? So now he's looking in hindsight, going back in time and talking about this and using Dave Weiss as some kind of, well, based off of what you said, you knew that. I'm like, no, man, everybody saw through your bullshit, dude. Or not everybody, but a lot of people started seeing through it. Like, before he even left, it was like damn October, November when he started flipping, and then the whole thing where the guys like Level Earth Observer, Eddie Alencar, Flat Earth Banjo, and everybody was calling him out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were like, yo, Jiren, like, why are you saying that the earth is a ball already? Like, you haven't even gone yet. What the hell's your problem? You know what I'm saying? Why are you saying these things like as if you already know? And so I don't know. That's my observation, at least. I don't know.
This is the clip Jiren uploaded yesterday. He took it from the podcast from here and he clipped it, and he was trying to, yep. I'll continue a little bit here. To look into it, because I don't think every flat earther said that it's the final thing, that if there's a 20.
But the fact that if they didn't go, who would go, and then what would happen? So at least we know we have two solid guys that are going to get real information, and that are 0.0% chance that they are going to be corrupted or lie.
Right. 0.0% chance that I am corrupted or lie. But because I came back with results that you didn't like, now I'm corrupted. Now I'm a liar. Now I've been sold out. I mean, it's just so obvious. I mean, it's so obvious. 0.0% equals a lot of percent, really. I mean, it's just, you can say 0.0 when you mean like 40% or 50% chance. Just say 0.0. Dave, you are a piece of work, my friend. Let's keep going. 0.0, guys. 0.0.
Okay. Now,
right, that's true. I wonder about what their parameters are going to be. What
to look into it, because I don't think every flat earther said that it's the final thing, that if there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, the Earth is a globe. I don't think so.
There's only one that said that. There's only one that said if he sees a circling sun, he'll say the Earth is a globe. There's only one. Okay, I don't know anyone else. I don't know anyone else that said it, but I think that person, I'm not even going to say the name, everyone can figure out who it is so confident there's not a 24-hour sun. They're like, I don't care if it circles. Okay, it's a globe. That's like me saying, I've got a test, and if the test fails, I'll say the Earth is a globe because I know the test isn't going to fail. Okay?
So, I wonder if these guys realize that you're in a scientific discussion. So this is where I've been confused, and I found myself in what I thought was a scientific discussion, then realized, oh, wait a second, nobody else is treating this at all scientifically. We're just saying words, because in science.
Scientifically, yeah, Jared is doing some science, some serious science.
Serious science? Jiren didn't do any serious science. Jiren couldn't even fucking go out there and film and do his part. He couldn't even do his part. That's like my biggest thing. That's where I'm pissed. He couldn't even do his fucking part. Like, man, look, I'm gonna let this shit ride, man.
I'm gonna hold my compass upside down because I'm retarded. Yeah, that's right. My Yogi Bear Campground Junior Explorer compass that I got out of a box of cereal.
Yeah.
Are you goddamn kidding me? Look at this, man. At the very least, you can get these online all day long, man. You can get a lensatic compass online all day long, man. That's all you know. And you're not going to accidentally hold it upside down, because you can't look at it that way.
The thing is that we have to understand why does he make that video now. And I believe that the first thing that comes to my mind is to save maybe David Weiss, from being associated with him. So they're trying to create some kind of a division between them. I believe it might be staged. It's very very easy to stage in order for to show you that I'm against David Weiss, I'm against him, and David is not with him anymore. I think that's the objective, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
That
it could,
I'm not sure.
It could be some form of distraction.
They're not in on it. They're not in on it, and we have to stay what we can say for now.
Oh yeah, the thing is that Jiren didn't do any science, but just burning a paper with a magnifying glass, riding on a bike, taking some pictures and video. That's not freaking science,
Yeah,
right? If
no,
you
he
would have
didn't.
done some real science, you would have bought a lot of data, a lot of different, multiple different real recordings and data and photos and images. You
Right,
just got a
and
bullshit CGI.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and he would have done what I would have expected him to do, right? Like, look, it doesn't, and even if my thing is you're going to a place that nobody has access to, right? And if you do, you got a lot of money, or we're assuming that you're part of some kind of organization where you do have these accesses. We're not lucky to go to fucking Antarctica. You understand what I'm saying? So if you know you have this opportunity to go to these places nobody's got access to, you know what you fucking do? You ask the whole fucking community. Now you ask the scientific quote unquote community that we talk so much about, and you ask them, what kind of experiments would you do if you were here? And then you have a laundry list of things that you do. If you don't know yourself, or if you don't have any clue, that's when you start running these fucking experiments to at least start showing that, hey, I give a damn. Now I'm going to commit to this thing that they call science, and we'll see what we get out of it. You know what I'm saying? None of that was done. He couldn't even fucking have a fucking video run for 24 hours like we would have expected him to do, right? Because everybody damn near in this whole fucking flat earth community, that's the thing that we said. Well, kind of like we wish that they had a fucking camera on the moon so that they could look on the earth. We want a 24-hour sun. We want this camera sitting right there from one of our own, which we at that time we considered Jiren, we considered Witsit and the like, one of our own, right? They couldn't fucking do it. Then you had Austin Witsit coming out there talking about, well, guys, I'm out of ideas. What do you think we should do? I'm like, motherfucker, you didn't figure that bullshit out on your own before even getting out there. You asking now what the fuck you need to do? You wasted everybody's fucking time. That was my stance on it. And
Also, yeah,
everything
because they were too busy, brother. They were too busy asking for money before they were going in any way they can, while they were there on the trip, and when they come back. That's what they were busy doing. They were not doing real science. They were doing, we all know what.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yep.
planning into dismantling the flat Earth community, for example, planning to implode it, which that's why they didn't. They didn't need to to bring so many proofs that the experiments worked, because it worked so far. The only success they have is into dividing the flat Earth community, which went to our advantage. They didn't plan on that, but that's the success. Success is that they managed to do so, managed to divide us, and well, turned against them. But that's the point. For me, it was the only point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't have made more look shit, like the flat earth people more shit. Like they tried their best to look worse. That's what it was. Not even to save the image of at least, like, nothing. The more unprofessional you could be, they were.
Yeah, of course. That's what they want to do. Yeah, that's the point. To look bad and to make us look bad.
Yeah, they could come with
exactly.
nothing, and then it was.
I was going to say, this is why if you ever watch that Behind the Curve documentary, and they show Jiren setting up his experiment like some kind of a goof ass with some kind of a half dull pocket knife jagging out a hole in a fucking piece of cardboard and shit. And I'm like, that in itself was,
it's an attack.
Yeah.
It's an attack. It's an attack.
Yeah.
That's all they can do. They cannot do nothing more. They cannot prove nothing. They cannot prove, that the Earth is a globe, or that there's like a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. They cannot prove this. So what else can they do? That's what they can do. If you fuck up the flat Earth community, there's no more flat Earth. If there is no more flat Earth community, that's over for flat Earth.
Well, their whole game hinges on a reversal fallacy. Okay, and it's like me going, okay, hey guys, guess what? I can turn into a grizzly bear at will. Prove that I can't. You see, that's the ridiculousness. I don't observe a spherical Earth. I don't see that. I see no evidence of convexity in my everyday life. I have no reason to even go into the direction of thinking that the earth is a ball. None whatsoever. Someone has to tell you that shit and then use these anecdotal proofs that are not exclusive to a globe as the proof. You see, and that's the fit. And I treat it like you would evidence in a court of law. I need proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Exactly.
You
And
believe in the
that's
globe?
man, it's crazy because they're automatically they're like, all right, so of course it's a globe because the sun is doing what it's doing, and they're like, it couldn't be any other way because the sun wouldn't do this if you look at this model of ours. And then I'm like, wait a minute, that's exactly it, Sav. I'm like, but we're not giving it a chance to look into the other stuff. Like, why are you just skipping over everything else, going directly to what the sun is doing? If you claim that you're actually even there, but you see what it is it's our backlash, and it's our argument with how the fuck could you be there, and what the hell are you even looking at, right? And I'm not even saying that they didn't go where they said they went, and they didn't do what they said they went to do.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference.
But it's like, how does that equate to the Earth being a ball? It doesn't make any sense. But it's our reaction as well. It's our reaction, and they're like, see, flat Earth are getting mad. That means he's getting mad because it's a ball. So then there you go, abracadabra.
Well, here's what you gotta get into this whole thing. There all the time they say, well, where's your working map and your working model? Okay, first off, nobody's got an accurate map. We all have the same maps that have been provided to us. Okay, none of us are map makers, so shut up about your stupid freaking maps. Okay. Secondly, you don't have a working model. Okay. The Globers do not have a working. Have you ever seen it? No. You've seen a series of different models for each one of the questions that comes up. But do you have a fully functioning working model? No, they do not. So how dare you ask me for something that you cannot provide yourself?
Yeah. Nobody uses a model of a globe. I could count on zero fingers the amount of times that when I was on a ship, I was on a sub, I was on a plane, nowhere do they have a globe as a backup model. Every single model that they use as a backup in case all the electronics just decide they want to shit the bed is a chart. Charts are maps. That's it. But they're talking about this globe model like nobody's using that. Never. That's not possible.
Yeah, we should give to one pilot just a globe, or to a captain ship, just go and navigate with the globe in your hand.
Oh, yeah. No.
I don't know if you agree, but in my investigation, I realized that it was in 1440 that the Roman Catholic Church started that all bullshit of the globe with Nicholas of Cusa, that said that the Earth was a globe. There were different Earth, the planets in the universe. And they started at that period of time. But when you analyze this, and when you see that there is the hand of the Catholic Church behind all that fucking heliocentric shit, so you understand how they work, because they did build the empire by forced conversion and by inquisition. So it's the same thing with the globe. People believing in the globe, it's like they've been forcibly, converted into believing into like a belief, a religious belief. And behind that, there's the Inquisition system. Like, if you doubt this, you're gonna get killed, or you're gonna be like excommunicated, whatever. So it's the same mentality. It's the same. It's a pattern that comes back. That means you have to be like converted into believing that the Earth is a globe. You cannot.
Why they do it when you're a kid? What do the Jesuits say, Sam? They say that give me a child by the age of 5 and he'll belong to the church forever.
Exactly. Nazis did the same thing. It's the same thing.
You have to agree that if your quote unquote working model incorporates physical impossibilities that have not been reconciled, is it a working model or is it a theory? Because there again, their whole thing centers around Helios, the heliocentric model, right? And they claim that Helios is a large mass of helium and hydrogen that, for some reason, against the behavior of all gases, decided to bond together or something and become a contiguous mass and have gravity. That's stupid. That's even stupid in its conception.
Yeah, and it's complicated. It's like it's a complicated stupidity. It makes it so complex and so complicated that people don't even want to get into that. It's just, okay, I accept it. That's all right. Just leave me alone. That's all right. That's okay. You see,
we'll leave it. Yeah, we'll leave it with the scientists. We'll let them figure it out. That's why they do what they do.
This is how they do it.
Thinking's hard. I'm going to leave that up to the government.
Yeah, do the thinking for me. Yeah, I know.
Hey, Dad.
We'll play this a bit. Yeah. Go ahead, RG. Quick one.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sav, you mentioned, helium, hydrogen and stuff. I was on X the other day, and I don't know if y'all remember the guy, Eric Hecker. He's the whistleblower from Antarctica. They came out on a bunch of shows, Sean Ryan. Dave mentioned him.
About earthquake machines and all that.
Yeah. The ice cube neutrino detector.
Yeah. That guy could not be a whistleblower. He would have assumed room temperature a long time ago. He would not be freely allowed to go on to different platforms all over the place and just start telling this shit if it was real. Okay, so be careful with that.
I mean, I don't know that though. I can't determine that he is or isn't. I'm just going to tell you what I had an interaction with him on a space on X the other day, and I just wanted to ask him, his idea or his thoughts about flat Earth, and what he has he experienced that out there. Like, was there anything weird? Just ask him a series of questions, and anyway, right at the end of the conversation, I was telling him about superfluids and these new experiments and discoveries with topological superconductors and how they're using it with machinery. Well, anyway, I just asked him offhand, hey, what do you think about what was my exact question? Superfluids, and if he thought things could be in the sky like suspended, kind of like superfluid would, how it would behave. And he said, hey, you guys got to get that in your vocabulary quick. I don't know what he meant by that, but I asked him, hey, what, blah, blah, blah. He said, he said there's 500,000 gallons at the South Pole Station that they keep at -4 Kelvin degrees for their experiments out there. And Dave made a point. He said the other day, he was, I think it was with us. Anyhow, he said, yeah, that, you could have these gases suspended in the atmosphere that gives a better background for holograms. And I looked into Microsoft and their HoloLens and stuff. Just, it's amazing. But anyway, the guy just out of nowhere said that. And that was and then, but anyway, I thought it might match up to what Dave was talking about with these holograms and, possibly in the sky. And when they went down there, that may be what was going on.
Oh, guys, before we continue, shout out to Corey Skates. He said 84 watching, only 38 likes. Come on, guys. Yes, FFS. What you guys are doing? Hit that like button, guys. We'll continue.
Our piece of work, my friend. Let's keep going. 0.0, guys. 0.0.
Okay. Now,
right, that's true. I wonder about what their parameters are going to be. What
to look into it, because I don't think every flat earther said that it's the final thing, that if there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, the Earth is a globe. I don't think so.
There's only one that said that. There's only one that said if he sees a circling sun, he'll say the Earth is a globe. There's only one. Okay. I don't know anyone else. I don't know anyone else that said it, but I think that person, I'm not even going to say the name, everyone can figure out who it is so confident there's not a 24-hour sun. They're like, I don't care if it circles. Okay, it's a globe. That's like me saying, I've got a test, and if the test fails, I'll say the Earth is a globe because I know the test isn't going to fail. Okay?
So, I wonder if these guys realize that you're in a scientific discussion. So this is where I've been confused, and I found myself in what I thought was a scientific discussion, then realized, oh, wait a second, nobody else is treating this at all scientifically. We're just saying words, because in science we have to agree to move forward. You have to at least agree on the way things should be done, or at least look at tests and say, okay, we're getting better results here, so we should go there. That's what I think. But no, not according to these guys. They all say that we know the Earth is flat. Well, that's real scientific. Why even look into doing experiments?
It's just a weird thing. It's just a weird thing. I think we have our two best guys going, by the way.
Wait, what? So that's a good thing. We have our two best guys going. Who are they? Because whoever they are, if they go down there and then they see the circling sun, everybody will believe them. If it's the two best guys.
I think Austin and Jiren going together are the two most equipped to really see through. And think about this. Everything the Globers have done from day one of this fight since 2014 or even before, they failed. They've done it horribly. We've seen through it. We've exposed it. They suck. And it's probably going to happen again, right? And I just think we just need to be on our toes. But the problem is the world is stupid. Okay, the world doesn't understand half the stuff we're talking about, and they'll have the mic of the mainstream media, right? Will Duffy's going to go on tour. He's going to be on Good Morning America. He's going to be everywhere, right? And
it hasn't happened yet. I've failed to see that.
He's going to be saying, and he's going to show some professional animation, probably made by
Heard what he said. You heard what Jiren said.
Yeah, he just said something like 10 seconds ago. I was trying to. I didn't.
He didn't see. He said he didn't see that. That Duffy was going to go live on Good Morning America. I don't know what the fuck else.
Right.
Well,
but was Duffy on those? Was he on like the Candace Owenses and Goodman? Somebody was on something, huh? Maybe not Jiren per se.
Well,
Judas.
Didn't work that well.
Oh yeah, Jiren is dreaming to go to Joe Rogan's, but yeah.
Have that motherfucker. And once a liar, always a liar, man. With these people, man, especially, man, go like my thing is all that money you could have it, dog. As soon as they see you as a liar, all that shit ain't worth it. Go ahead, fuck around with Joe, whatever. Mess around with those guys. All those people that believe that bullshit, you can all have it. If you're in a lie, if you're involved with it, that shit's gonna come back. I don't care how big your show is, your platform. As soon as people recognize you for who you are, man, it's not gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's all.
That ain't none of my business.
Yep.
One of those, whoever's doing the cool hard logic or something, showing people how on a flat Earth the sun would not work. The 24 they won't even talk about the coffee cup caustic because no one will be able to understand that. So he'll be talking about that. He'll be like, flat earthers were there. It was daylight the whole time, whatever they want to say. And they'll have the microphone, right? That's what they do. But it's not going to, whatever happens, it's not going to kill flat earth. It's going to bring more attention to it. That's for sure.
I'll start with this. I want to say I completely agree with Dave that Austin and Jiren are the best representatives for our team to be.
Man, how things change. The best representative for our team and to hated, lied about, rocks thrown, families called. It's just ridiculous.
Down there.
Yeah, because he was freaking all the time. He was playing. Jiren was freaking playing all the time. Like that's the.
Yeah,
many knew that, and he wants to believe like he was trying to show here that like how the tides changed, right? How the people were having him as one of the most solid to one of the most shit, right? People are gonna as you appear, as you act, as you show, as you deliver, the people are gonna have their opinions, right?
Yep.
But many knew already that it was full of shit, right? Go ahead, Iron.
Yeah, like he's not even addressing that. Mm-hmm. He's talking about their hindsight right there, but he's not even addressing the before he left for Antarctica, how everybody was like rolling dice saying Jiren's gonna fold. Jiren's already folding. He looks like a shill going on Bro Sanchez and everything else. Like everybody, you had people out there that was calling it before he even left.
I think it was P-Brain predicted it like months ago.
Was it years? Was it years ago?
Or years ago, yeah.
Was it months? It's crazy, right?
I mean, it was quite a long time before that, but I mean, you got to look at the language, right? Okay, so they send it back initially, some really speculative video with a lot of problems with it to begin with before they even get back here. Jiren and Austin say, we've got tons of stuff we're going to upload. It's still not uploaded. Okay. But anyway, they go on with that about and immediately before anything, his first broadcast upon returning is chastising, insulting, and ridiculing every one of the people that has supported him both through the algorithm and financially on YouTube. Calls them all just everything but my God.
That's the point. The point is to divide. That's the point.
Yeah.
And check it out here. It's also the show.
He only divided himself and those participants from the real world. That's it.
Doesn't matter here. Check it out. What he's doing. He's also dividing, between him and David Weiss. That's what he's doing. That's the pattern here. That's what he's doing constantly from the beginning. He's like accusing David Weiss. He's not with him. Like they're not together. They're not together.
Yep.
Look, they're like, they're opposed. So of course, it's not possible that they're staging that. Of course, no, it's not possible. That's the proof that David Weiss is not in it because look, they're they don't agree. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. Before we continue, Rachel, we will add you in a bit. We can only have 6 people on the panel, so as we rotate, we're gonna have you in a bit. All right, we continue with this.
Remember, Vikka, what I told you?
I would
Vikka?
agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
And people.
Okay, remember?
Yeah, I remember, bro. No worries. Yep.
Who keep calling them shills and all that? You need to stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just need to stop.
Yeah. And the Globers are running with that. They're shills. Jaren's going to be a flat earther, whatever. No, there's 0% that either of them will become, globe earthers. Just to stop it. Everybody just stop it.
All right. That was just Dave. That was just a bit wrong. A bit there. He was wrong. Right.
Just a little wrong. Just a little bit.
Wait, how many percent chance? What are the percent chances that somebody becomes a glober?
No, there's 0% that either of them will become, globe earthers. Just to stop it. Everybody just stop it. Okay.
This guy, Joe Hamby. Joe Hamby, flat earther since, it's not 1994, it's 1884. He's been a human being. You got that wrong. He's been a flat earther for 114 years.
We perceive our world through our eyes, which are optic.
Thanks, Joe.
Everything outside is optical. Every flat earth, I've been a flat earther, I think roughly 13 years.
Oh, it's only 13 years. Sorry, that was 113.
One of the first mantras of flat earth I ever heard was the lights in the ceiling don't determine the floor beneath your feet. So I've always held that.
These guys all shake their heads yes now. It's like, yes, we do. We all speak that language now. We are the first group in human history to think it's okay to dictate what evidence can be accepted and what cannot. It's very normal. Very normal to come in and just blanket statement. And it's, of course, is it the...
Dude, I said right at the beginning, he said, well, what do you think it'll be if we see a 24-hour sun in the sky? And I said, it'll mean that there's either an anomaly with the sun that we don't understand, or there is some fuckery afoot. And I'm leaning toward the latter.
Yeah. We don't know what the hell. We don't even, man, here's the thing. We don't even know what the hell the sun is.
No.
We still don't even know what the fucking thing is. So to make these claims as if, well, it's a ball now. No, we don't know what the hell's going on. We know this motherfucker's flat though. That much. See, that's the thing. They didn't run any more of those fucking experiments like they were supposed to. So they went and they wasted everybody's goddamn time. They didn't do no laser experiment. They didn't do no flatness experiment. They didn't do nothing. They didn't do, and we know what those results would or should have been, because you can't, what are they going to do? Make some curvature? You're not going to make fucking curvature. It would have been fucking flat, right? So we would, you know what would have happened? They would have been like, oh, the sun's doing this stuff. And then we would have been like, all right, what about the flatness results? Still flat, right? Of course, that's because it's flat. We don't need to know what the fucking sun is doing. Really, that's why they didn't do it. But here's the thing. They didn't even make a fucking attempt. They didn't even give it the old Harvard try or anything like that. And so they're coming back empty-handed, and here he is, sitting there looking for some kind of sympathy. And it's like, no, motherfucker, you ain't going to get none, man. Whether you got the outs with David Weiss or not, and everybody else on that panel, that's a you problem. now that you have people that see you for the liar that you are, that's a you problem, man. You never should have. You should have opted to not go. You should have talked with people that that saw through the bullshit. I did offer for him to talk with the Flat Earth banjos and to talk with Level Earth Observer and everything else like that. I was like, look, talk with these guys. They might see something that maybe you're not privy to. You know, just at least talk with them, get them on your show, and we could discuss it. He didn't want to do that, man, because he was already checked out anyway.
You remember way back? You remember back when Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, they were friends, and then something happened, and then they hated each other and stuff. You remember
that Miss Elizabeth boy?
I'll tell you what, man, it's the same damn thing.
Yeah,
man. We're watching the exact same thing, and they're playing you like the crowd at a WWE fight. That's all, man.
It's a scam.
No, I think it wouldn't surprise me if those people that have been shooting these flat earthers down one by one, they're just looking for smoke on everybody, waiting for us to build up our channels. And the bigger we get our channels, then they're gonna be like, all right, now this is where we get you. You're gonna have to turn these people. We've got this on you. We've got that on you. Yeah, man. I don't know, man.
I gotta peace out, guys. I gotta go chow down on some nachos. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for having me out, man.
Stop. Peace, brother. Peace.
Right,
good
guys.
to see you, man.
See you.
What's up?
Hey, what's up? Hey, guys.
Hey, Rachel.
Yeah, I just wanted to something happened like 2 days ago, and I thought it was like a good example of how flat earth is too heavy for everybody. Like, I was working with this guy. I've known him for like 4 years. I work with him like not that much, but we talk and stuff. And I mentioned I was a flat earther, and he's like, why do you think the earth is flat? Right. And I had already been talking about, like, I really don't think Trump got shot in the ear. Scamdemic and all this stuff. And he knows all this shit, and it doesn't raise an eyebrow. And he's like, it's kind of like, I work with like thousands of people, the kind of like general consensus is like, everything is just background noise now. When they said, like, Congress said a few months ago that aliens were real. They said that Congress said aliens were real. Roswell happened, and we've been using alien technology since Roswell. So, and no one cared. Like, nobody cared. That's when they had all like the orbs and everything over Jersey and all this shit that they were saying, and like, oh, could be aliens, and like, we don't know what they are, and they're playing it all up, like, in waiting for months, and then they finally say, oh yeah, they are aliens, but they're cool, and we know we're cool with them, and like, we got their text since the 40s, right? So all that, nobody cared whatsoever about nothing. Nobody cares about anything, right? Mention flat earth, like, instantly their eyes, like, you'll see raised eyebrows, and it's just it's that heavy. It's too, like, everything they just said aliens are real, and we've been using their technology forever, and nobody cared. But you say flat earth, and it's like it's still like the heaviest shit in history. They people can't handle it. So he says, so why do you think the earth is flat? And I'm like, well, we're just going by what NASA says. We're saying, they're busting themselves. It's not like we don't have this theory or anything. We don't have to use math. We're just busting NASA on what they're saying to us. That's it. I said, do you think we're going millions of miles an hour in 4 different directions at the same time? And then I said, do you think you think we have like rovers on Mars, and we landed on a comet, and we got film cameras? We got a satellite with a film camera on it from 1957, sending us film pictures back from outside Saturn. It's orbiting Saturn since 1957, and we're getting film pictures back. I used to have debates with my old roommate, who thought she was like super smart, right? And I said, well, how do you think they're getting film pictures back from the 50s from an orbiting satellite around Saturn? And she's like, radar. So, like, Like, what's that? Like fuck radar. So what does that mean? You know? So what's the magical thing that's on this like ancient ass piece of junk satellite sending film pictures? But is there like a photo? Remember the little photomats? The little things, the little you drive up, little photomat.
Moto photo, yeah, phone booth.
Yeah. You drop off the
not
30.
phone booth,
You
film
drop
booth,
off.
yeah.
Yeah, you drop off your little weed container full of film, you know. Hope you got some shots that are not blurry and fucked up and red eyes and all that shit for like $32 for like 30 pictures. Right. So, but magically radar. Okay, so radar's like gravity, you know, like magic. You know, anything happens, it's gravity. And now it's radar. You could put radar in there. It's always radar, like radar waves, you know, like it's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory or something. It's like and it like turns the, you know, and the chocolate bar over here on TV and goes.
Then you gotta remind them that radar functions off of line of sight. That's the only way it works, really.
Oh, no, they would never buy that. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't
line of sight.
I didn't even know that, but I'm sure. So, but the point is, I said to this guy, all this shit, and it was like background noise, and he didn't care, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, he probably didn't get shot in the ear, and you know, scamdemic and stuff, and I get it." And so everything, like, he kind of is. It's not like outlandish for me to say that shit was fake, right? But you say flat Earth, and that stopped him, you know, and like raised his eyebrows and shit. So so the idea, and it's so heavy because people have to see that the globe is a continuing lie. For the globe is the most continuous, relentless propaganda topic ever, right? There's like the second you're born, you see a globe somewhere. You know, like you go in kindergarten, you're going to see a globe. And it's just, and like what Saab said before, if it wasn't so important, why did they keep having to reinforce the globe? And it's not that they think that like it's not that they think that flat Earth has huge momentum, which I don't know. Maybe it has more momentum than we think. You know, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
You think it does?
Oh yeah, absolutely, guys. Anyone who is typing, please do mute your mic because it's hot micing. Thanks. And yeah, Rachel, you were mentioning something about that you were supporting Jiren and all this stuff. What happened with that? Are you still supporting him?
No. It's been about.
Tell us.
It's been about 3 years since I was paying $25 a month on the Patreon. And I've been I supported a lot of people actually, but
guys, who the hell is typing so hard? Please mute the mic.
Sounds like they're on a typewriter or something.
Yeah, you ever hear Rose type? One, she's like, "Oh my god!" It's like,
who's that?
Rose fucking crazy. It's like,
who's using the keyboard so strong? Yeah, just mute, please.
They're probably yelling caps at me, but it's just amazing that yeah, so the Jiren thing, right? So I don't know how many years, many years, because he was one of the ones that got me into it, to flat Earth, him, Sargent, and Dubé, you know, the typical suspects. And this is the audacity. Okay, this wasn't personal. Like he didn't like personally send this just to me. He sent it to everybody. Well, he claimed that he sent this email to everybody who stopped supporting him on the Patreon. That he was just like, oh well, you know, I was going through my Patreons and I noticed that a bunch. He didn't even say a bunch. I don't know how many people stopped supporting him at that time, but he's just like, oh, I sent out an email and I'm just wondering, you know, like why you stopped supporting me. And I'm just like, oh my god, like shut the fuck up, you know what I mean? Like you got to be kidding me, you know, like just you're not grateful that I just gave you money for like years and everybody else whatever. But he wasn't turning then. He wasn't like starting to go. This was like 3 years ago probably. And but I just the whole thing with Globebusters. I mean, I met Bob a few times, and I met Sargent, and I met Witsit. I met a lot of people. I went to 2 Flattoberfests. I met a lot of people there, and then I met you know, I went to Mark Devlin thing, and went to Mark Devlin thing right across on near Yale. and I met more truthers there. And then I went shoot the moon NYC with Crow 77, and I met Jason and Rose and everybody there, and David Weiss I've seen a bunch of times and stuff. Oh, but the whole thing is, I was kind of thinking this today, right? That it's a shame. I'm not like a communist or nothing, right? I'm not like anti-capitalism or anything, but I'm just saying, like, the world exists today, what we have it, and this comes, with the final experiment and Jiren and Witsit and stuff, and this is also included in that. It's like, if everything wasn't money driven, like, what world would we have? Because like Vlad, posted that guy who invented the car that runs on like fucking RF or something, it runs on like air, vapor, ether, whatever. And so that guy, they're going to kill that dude. You know what I mean? But because new inventions won't happen, because if they compete with inventions that are already making huge cash, they're going to snuff that new invention. Like medical, like I'm suffering a medical problem right now, and I really wish there was some technology that would fix my foot, but I got a real foot situation now. But in like medicine, like drugs, every industry, education, everything, even religion, It's
Rachel,
all.
we have to take care with the hot words. Yeah, if not, yeah,
Oh
they're
yeah, I'm
gonna
sorry.
flag the.
Okay,
Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, we are trying to figure out from how long this deception has been going on. Especially with the final experiment and all the scripted show that's been happening from few months, and it's been still playing on, and what's coming ahead. So yeah, before we continue, let's give a chance to bonfire. How are you doing? Are you there? Bonfire.
Oh, bonfire. Okay.
Unmute. Bonfire, you're muted. Okay, there it is.
Hey, kids.
Oh boy.
Hey, kids.
Oh, ha 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 ha. Oh goodness, sorry, I forgot to laugh. But go ahead.
Yeah. I don't have anything. Let's watch the video. It's more interesting.
Bonfire is here as a troll.
Yeah, I seen him in the chat. Acting
I'm
like
here
a
to
little
tell
boy.
the.
Oh boy. Yeah.
All righty. We'll continue with this a bit because yeah.
Proof that proves flat Earth? No, it's the one that proves the globe. So we can't accept that. It's we only accept the ones that prove us.
That as a truth, like, because we can't get up there, we can't measure them, we don't know exactly what they are. We can speculate, we can theorize, but we don't know. So to say that because the light in the ceiling does something funny changes the measurement that I can perform on the floor beneath my feet was just always odd to me. However, from a growth standpoint, I think everybody here would agree that
But this would prove it. And if the Earth is a globe, that flight could be made easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially crossing over the South Pole. If you go from Chile to Australia over the South Pole, the debate is over.
Now notice that they said that because if this ever happens in the future, mark my words, this will be the same story again. This is why nobody should buy into this idea. I get it. It would be a good proof, but so he just said, if we fly over the South Pole and go to the other side, the debate's over. But do you think Dave agrees with that? Look at his face even. He's like, but you never know, because they could replace the plane.
Yeah. Why didn't Duffy do that experiment? Right? Just flying over the South Pole and coming over towards Australia. Yeah. They're trying to take something in reference, the sun. No, why don't you take something physical?
Yeah, these guys, they're reaching, man. Like, it's over for them. They don't have anything. They need us. This is a pure example of they need us. They could talk about there's so many other issues with the world, right? And if what they felt was true, if they knew that this Earth was a globe, they would find correlations between the globe being true and the issues and the issues and the ills of the world, that they would discuss that. They're not discussing that because it's bullshit, right? It's all not true. So they don't have anything except to jump on our case, right? To talk bad about us. Like, this is why, like, I see all these guys in the flat earth community doing these debates, and I'm like, look, man, stop with the debates, or charge them money, charge them exorbitant amounts of money if you're going to debate with these people, because they don't live without us. They're parasites. You understand? And so we're making bread for them, and we just need to stop. And once we just pull away, and then they can't go without us. They need us. They're the cancer that needs sugar. And so
Yes.
without us, man, they don't live. They don't function. And after a while, people are going to see that, and they're going to see how empty they are. And then it'll be easy, or it should be easy, for somebody to make an executive decision based off of what's true and what's not true. It's that simple. But we need to just cut them loose.
But we also need to analyze their attacks, because you see here, for example, Jiren took the time to make a video, and I still don't see the points. You know, it doesn't attack Vikka or Gene. Okay, Gene is you cannot attack him because he doesn't attack anybody. but you know, it doesn't attack Vikka. It attacks Flatters, Dave, and Joe Henry. So, what's the point of that video if not to make you believe that, you know, there's division, you know, amongst them? Like, you know, they're not together. They're not in on it, you know, together. Dave Wise is not in with Jiren. He's not in on it, man. Look, they're fighting. They're like just opposed. I don't see any other, you know, reason why he made that video. If it is just to show you that it doesn't agree with Dave and with Envy, he's not with them. You know, just see that. If not, what else? What's the point of the video?
Well, I think what Judas was talking about before going down there to Antarctica, that he said either if we have a 24-hour sun, either the Earth is a globe, or we don't know how the sun operates completely. He left himself with two options, but only when he got back, only acted like there was one option. You know, that the Earth was a globe. What about the modeling we seen Joe Henry do that proved we didn't really know what the sun was doing, but here's what it could be doing when it gets to Capricorn, you know, and he showed that plain and clear. And if there's a superfluid layer or the dome is reflective, it could do a circle around them where they were at in Antarctica. It was possible to have a dome and the Earth be flat and it still rotate, and you could see it go around you anywhere in Antarctica, right? You could move your personal point of view, your personal dome of vision, and go around the outside edge of Antarctica and still see it.
Yeah, but
circle
now
around
the point is the same, because now, even though it's possible, that whole thing managed to divide us. So now you're going to have flat earthers that believe that, you know, the sun can act that way. Before that, there was like flat earth people that believe that there is no South Pole. So there cannot be like two suns or sun, 24-hour sun. That's over. There's no South Pole. Now, you know, you have flat earthers that believe that, okay, there's no South Pole, but however, maybe the sun can do this, can do that, mirrors. So anyways, it's going to, you know, create different current into the flat earth movement and divisions on you know, and they triggered these divisions. You know, why not think about, you know, you can think about any kind of, you know, theories, but the thing is that if it's not a globe, there is no South Pole, and it cannot be a sun circling around a point, because there is no other point. There is no South Pole. This is something simple to understand.
The important thing too, Sam, with what you're saying is that our eye and where we're at. Say,
RG just fell off.
Yeah.
Hello.
RG, you there? Yeah, we got you.
RG,
you're on mute, bro. You're muted.
Mute.
Unmute yourself.
Oh yeah. Can you hear me now? You can hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. But my point was, you know, if they were at Union Glacier Bay, like they said they were, let's just say hypothetically, you go 500 miles downrange or 400, however far the next camp would be or something, right? And the people at that camp would also see the sun circling their head. Now, how could that be, right? Unless each individual observer, as long as you're far enough apart, right, from the other camp or whatever, you both would feel as if the sun is going around you, right? Like, and you would both be having the same experience. Well, what Judas is making it out to be is that you can't have those happen, right? That would never happen because Antarctica is a continent, right? In his explanation, right? But you could have people 180 degrees across from you on the other side of the North Pole in the South and still see the sun circle around them. Like it's easy for me to understand, I guess, because I have an open mind, and you know, to me, it seems like he's just being closed-minded and not listening to people that have other opinions.
No, I'm trying to avoid what's complicated, because in front of me I have globers that are very complicated. They're trying by complex, demonstrations to fool you with gibberish. So I'm very, I tend to refute
Mic check.
and
Do
be
you hear me,
careful of
Vlad?
everything
Do you hear me well?
which is
Yeah, I got you. We hear you. Yeah.
which is too complicated, because flat Earth reflects simplicity. Water cannot bend, the Earth is flat, and this is simple. Now, if you start bringing in complex games of mirrors and think everything is possible. I'm open-minded, but it smells like what the globers are doing all the time, like to try to make it complicated, because they cannot make it simple. And the thing is that truth is simple. It's very simple. I believe like children will understand that the Earth is flat. Like little children will know it. It's not very
That's a
complicated.
great,
but
that's a
again,
fantastic point. That's a great point, because
Thank you.
once you start throwing math, and all this bullshit, complicated shit, then it's above most people's heads. They don't want to bother. They'll just be like, I'm out of this conversation. And that every time something is more complex and more complicated and seemingly unattainable in any way to grasp it, that creates the opportunity for experts to appear.
Yep.
Of course.
It leaves it wide open for Neil deGrasse and people like that. And then the people that I was on the panel with yesterday, all these learned ones, they're sitting there with they're like, you believe the Earth is flat still? Preposterous. And I'm like, okay, well, just look into it. And I even gave them the opportunity. And I apologize, Rachel, for cutting you off. But it's like, hey, you know what? Fine. Make fun of us all you want, but go over it line by line, explain it, and then you can make fun of it as much as you want. But my thing is also make sure that your audience listens to you talking about the flat Earth. Give it the old honest try and let your audience figure it out for themselves. Let them be the judge. That's all.
So that's the point. We are open-minded. I'm open to any possibility. You can tell me there is 3 suns in Antarctica, standing together. I have no problem. Just now we have to prove it, and also we have to understand that if you are willing to accept such theories, so you are also open to accept all kinds of bullshit.
Thank you.
That's the problem. You have to be careful. You have to think well, but what the possibilities. But again, I'm open to any possibilities. But I tend to always embrace what's simple, because this is what flat Earth taught me, that the truth is simple, very simple.
Yeah. Do you guys know why they observed?
See, it's not complicated. It's simple.
You fell off.
Cut out again. Yeah.
Is RG even there still?
Yeah,
He got dropped. He got dropped.
He dropped. You see the difference
I don't
between
know
people
if
that believe like there's only.
I don't know if it's a connection problem or something.
See, when it's too complicated, RG, you drop, man. Just stay simple.
Don't get too complicated, RG, because they drop you. The algorithms.
Yeah, that's why. Like that's
Yeah,
why
what
with
happened there? I don't know why it dropped me.
You get it's too you get it too
Well,
complicated.
let me ask you guys. Let me ask you guys this. I'll try
I'm
to dumb it
kidding,
down.
kidding around. Yes, go ahead.
Right. So look, do you guys know that or we know? Do you guys believe the sun is on a track, like not like a railroad track, but something that's a circuit? It's
Like a
called in the
boundary
Bible.
or something like that.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
in our model, right, the sun travels between the tropics. Cancer, which would be the highest point of the dome, or higher track, and then the equator as you go south, then Capricorn, right?
Right.
And we know that here's a simpler way to put this, like vibration, frequency. So the sun and moon, when they're at their respective places, when they finally reach Cancer or Capricorn, that middle line is the furthest it will go during that season. It'll stay in between Cancer and the equator in the summer, our northern summer, right? And if you notice, the sun will be at a high point, then a low point, right? Then a high point, low point. That's called a sine wave. So it'll go up and down. It'll travel like that. It's an oscillation, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down, as it goes in a circle. Well, they observed just that when they were in the South, right? If that video is real, that's all they observed was that the vibration or oscillation of the sun between equator and Capricorn. That's why they saw it go up and down, up and down. They're like, wow, I didn't expect it to be that high during the day, right? Well, the lower the ceiling is, the more of an effect it will have. So what they seen or what they showed would just prove our side that, yeah, that's how the sun does in our model, not 93 million miles away. And the 58 encyclopedia, 1958, said that the lowest part of the ceiling there in the south would be 13,000 feet. That's pretty damn close, I would say. So the effects that we seen on the video, if they did fake it, it was a good fake. It gave away our position.
The
Right.
problem is
But
the
anyway,
time.
I
It's not.
just wanted to-
The problem is not the position. It's the time, the timing, because
Right.
you cannot have the sun being in the same place 24 hours. Whatever position or whatever wave is making cannot be like in the same place, because Antarctica is like it's all around that plate there. So you cannot be
Well,
on one point in that plate and see the sun going. Whatever it does,
Right.
doesn't
It's
matter.
constantly in motion in a circle as well. Right. So you wouldn't just be in one spot and the sun circle you for 24 hours. It would be circling and you would get daylight for 24 hours, but the sun wouldn't stay stationary around your head.
Even
Right.
that is hard to understand. That how can you get, if the sun is on the other side of the plate, how can you get sunlight on the opposite side? That's all I don't understand. It seems complicated.
RG, the thing is, nothing is to be trusted at this stage from the TFE. Nothing. It's
Nothing,
it's
yes.
a total. It's a total.
It's a clown show
computer
with them.
generated bullshit.
So does
That's what
everybody
it's coming like. That's what it. Yeah.
does everybody think that the sun, whatever it is inside the firmament? Because I think it is.
Well, the point is that according to our books, there is two firmaments, and it's not. I tell you why, because again, all I have is books now to think with. So about the firmament, we know it exists, because it's written in the Bible, and in the original Hebrew, it's called the rakia, and it says that the second day he built the firmament, and the fourth day he put the sun and the moon and the stars in the firmament of the firmament. That means in the firmament of the skies. But since the skies is the name of the firmament, so we know that there is a firmament, there is a dome, and there is a dome of a dome. So there is a layer here. So they are in that layer, not inside, but inside.
Within the layer. It's like a sandwich.
Exactly. That's the way we can understand it very clearly. Now, those are books. You can believe in them, not believe in them. Those can indicate how it works, and it makes sense that they could be in the firmaments, but not in between us and the dome, but in between the dome and another layer of another dome, the dome of the dome.
When we look at that Go Fast rocket, or when we look at the balloon footage, they show beyond the clouds, they show the sun, and they sometimes, depending on what they're looking at, sometimes they might show the moon too. And it looks like they're there, and they could cause a projection or something like that, right?
Yeah, of course.
But this is where I'm caught between a rock and a hard place, right? Because I'm looking at the sun that we see at a distance, and I'm looking at a moon that we see at a distance, and then I'm remembering the North Pole, right? So we have the North Pole, and then the North Pole is supposed to be providing us a projection. So I'm wondering if that sun that we're seeing is a reflected, like a mirror image of the sun, and then it's projecting its light down on Earth, and then the same thing with the moon. Because now I'm still trying to incorporate how the North Pole functions between those two greater and lesser lights, between the lights that we see in the sky, in not even the sky, but beyond the sky. You know what
How
I'm
about the
saying?
heat? How about the heat? Can it project the heat too?
Yeah, I don't know. Man, Sam, I don't know, man. I
Well,
don't
the
know.
thing, the
But
sun,
actually, it could
the sun is not
it could
just like
amplify.
a light. It's also
It could
heat.
magnify the light and the heat if it's in another firmament. All this sounds to me like a very controlled environment,
Oh, yes.
a very lots of technology going on. Okay,
Closed system.
we have
Exactly.
a closed system. So we're in a flat plane, and then there's the firmament, the dome, and then the seals in our atmosphere, and a lot of other. See, we have to get past. People have to get past the idea that if something's in the air, it's fucking magic. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, oh my God, what is it up there? It's something. Well, you have to view the air as the ocean. The air is a physical media that you can manipulate and you can travel with. You could fly. You could fly. You could have balloons. You could have helium. You have all kinds of shit up. You have to get past the idea that everything in the sky is like, oh my God, it's fucking magic. Like, oh, no, it's technology. Everything we see up there in our atmosphere is technology that we made, or birds and stuff. But the air is a medium like the ocean that you could propel off of, and it's workable. So it's not fucking magic. So we have the flat earth, we have the air, our atmosphere, we have the firmament that locks everything in, and then there could be a very orchestrated, very controlled technology system of the stars that we see, and the sun and the moon and everything that could be in a space like some kind of gel in between our firmament dome and the next firmament, like the firmament within a firmament. This all sounds to me like a very, very orchestrated, deliberate technology
Yes.
system.
We're domesticated. We are domesticated. Domesticated. We are.
Yeah.
Before just a second, Iron. What is it called when you tame a horse? There's a word in domado in
Broken.
Spanish, right? So dormitorio, domingo, everything is dome, right? We are domesticated. Go ahead, Iron brother. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, no, all that's true. I think it just goes well beyond our scope of thinking, because we're thinking that it's some special deity, this one, that one, somebody special or something special, which that could definitely be a part of it. It could be. I'm not saying it's not. But what I see, right, based off of just experience, what I see and how I know we function is that if you have a system in place, right, if you made something and you have a system in place, and you see it operating and it operates well, and this is just from my limited way of thinking, it's a very limited and concrete way of thinking, right? Let's remember that. If something goes bad with it, you have something that they have like rebuild kits, right? Where it's like, hey, if this one goes bad, guess what? I can remake that, right? And then I can show other people how to do the same thing. I'd say one of the best ways I can illustrate this is with a terrarium. If you've ever made a terrarium, you see them all over the place. Some people have like terrariums that are like 50 years old, right? In big giant glass five gallon carboy bottles, where they have dirt, and then they have a small little ecosystem. So if that goes bad, guess what? You can replicate it. I feel that there are stewards here where we live that knows how this place operates, right? That everything is designed for and set up for a reason. So when you have these people that come out here that kind of break away from the mold and they do their own thing, and then they come up with a way to turn, you know, plastic into like usable energy, not even gasoline, but something usable and functionable, right? They get killed because, or they get removed because that's not part of the script that they have designed for us to function as a world. You know what I'm saying? Those people are like beyond rogue agents. So they think so far outside the box that they're not part of the story that they intended for everybody else, right? This is why those things like understanding the bat signals that they keep sending up, like the 33 consistently all the time. Anytime they put that 33 up, they're like, hey, we're right on track. We're moving according, this is going according to plan. You have people out there that don't work according to plan. They're just scattered about to the winds. It just happens in nature. Naturally, that's just how it is, right? And so I feel that there are people out there, and we're seeing that. We see it. We recognize that. It's kind of like the guy that's making the movie. Everybody's so focused in on the movie, but we see the guy that's actually generating the film, and we're like, there's something about this whole thing that just doesn't. Maybe we don't fully get it. And I'm not saying that we need to fully get it, but at least we're putting some pieces together to recognize that there's a little bit more going on than we're privy to. But my thing is that once we get to that point, then what? Like once we get to that point of understanding, like then what? Like now what? Like getting other people to understand it is good, but then what do we do with that information? Knowing that there possibly are stewards out there that they're like, all right, let's scrap this experiment. They'll go someplace, they'll generate an earthquake, destroy us. Then they're like, all right, we can start all over again with this freaking with Earth startup kit. Basically, we can start right here. We could just do it all over again. Like now what? What do we do? Where we go from here? I'll land my plane. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, bro. Haji, you're back.
Hey Vikka, can you get rid of that piece of shit there that in that private chat that is insulting everybody? I don't know.
Oh balls.
It's the same guys. It's the same fucking.
Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. I'll be here though.
Russian, you know, the debunk drunk show guy on that guy on drugs there, you know, the drunk debunk show there. That's his friend.
That's a crucial point too, Vlad. That there must be stewards in the system that are in the know, that have to they got information we don't have. They have instructions. They have scripts. It's beyond these clowns that we see on TV. It's beyond it's beyond these fucking clowns. And you know, they're always mentioning the Bill Gates, not what happened to him, you know, but who knows? But they're always mentioning, you know, Elon Musk and, you know, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and all these like the richest people in the world. Well, they just happen to be not Saudi, right? Because Saudi Arabia wipes their ass with that money.
They're not the richest, yeah. The Vatican is the richest.
Saudi Arabian royal families have been running the oil business for the world forever. And through the 80s, all through the 80s, they were making $1 billion profit per day. $1 billion profit per day through the 80s. And that shit didn't stop. So they used to say, they cut it out, you know, just like they used to say, oh, global warming, now it's climate change. They used to say, oh, like Elon Musk, the richest guy in the free world. They don't say that anymore because they're just saying the richest man in the world. Because if you say richest guy in the free world, that means there's somebody else richer in a world that's not free, and a country that's not, and a country that's not free. And Saudi Arabia is not. It's
you know what they're saying, that they are the richest guys, in order for people to, you know, to pay attention to them, like priests, like holy priests, like, you know, they're the richest. They're not the richest. It's bullshit. You know, you have the Rothschild family that have been bankers for like hundreds of years. They own everything. You have, you know, the Saudis, like you said. You have the Vatican, which is for me the mothership of, you know, of wealth in the world. They've been sitting for like 2,000 years, like gold and from all over the world.
And who control the Rothschilds? We're told the Rothschilds are the richest, but it's like I heard it's actually Spaniards. There's a Spanish family in Spain that has owned everything in the entire world forever. And now even what we're told, like at least in American schools, I don't know what they say everywhere else, but in American schools, all like when we started, with grade school, they were saying, oh, Spaniards, everything is Spaniards were just invading the motherfucking everywhere. Spaniard. I mean, they were the first, like invaders of America, and I used to talk to when I used to work in a high school. I used to talk to Spanish teachers, and some of them for Peru, Chile, Argentina, Venezuela, and they then they corrected me because I'd be like, oh, Spanish people, and one corrected me and said, no, it's Latina. I'm a Latina. I'm Spanish speaking, and I don't like to be called Spanish because Spain invaded my country. And so I was corrected, and I understand. I have that understanding. But as far as back as I can remember of anything about American history, was that Spaniards were just invading everywhere. So I think there's something to that. I think the people above the Rothschilds are
yes,
Spanish,
or maybe one person, because in our books we also have like tales of a guy that goes around for a long time. That's that's immortal, but immortal by curse. But he makes the people, rich people believe that he owns the secret of immortality, and this is how he manages to control all these people. Because when you're rich, you don't want to die, and you'll be willing to give everything you have just to have that secret. And it's possible. We've been thinking with some friends here in Israel. It's very possible there's a guy around, going around, and that actually, owns all that shit, and that he's been around for a very long time. He has all the knowledge and everything that takes, to control these people. It's very possible. And not, this is, immortality is science. It's not something that we should believe it doesn't exist. In our books, it's written that
there's
it
a
exists.
person there's a person throughout, I guess you could say, history. There's a person like that. They call him Saint Germain or Saint Germain.
The Count of Saint Germain. This is I believe an example of this man. We call him Ashmadai in the Torah. He seduced Solomon. The King Solomon was a very rich, very wise. Yes, Solomon. The king, the son of
king,
David.
but Asmodeus the demon.
I think you call him Asmodeus, exactly. And he made him understand that actually what he has, what Solomon had, and he had everything, was shit, because he was about to die soon, like in a few years from now. So Solomon realized that he was right, that he should have asked God for immortality, which is worth much more than wisdom and much more than money, whatever. So, and he took his ring off and his power off, and he gave that power to Ashmadai, and that guy, ruled over Israel for 7 years instead of him. So it's a big fucking deal. That means the first temple was maybe built by that guy. It's no joke. So those are stories, tales, but be careful. It's like, there are,
right. There's there might be very well could be some truth in it, but yeah, like I'm sure, like we see what we see, and they have these TVs and all that other media stuff out there for a reason. So our minds are focused on quote unquote leadership. They're all dressed nice, hair not out of place, looking clean, looking good, smelling good, and everything, right? But then they're mortal. They don't last long, and they're tools. They're tools to serve something else. Right. And that's something else. I have no idea what it is, but I do feel that something else is what's making all this other stuff happen in such a way that we're starting to, we recognize it's happening. But I think that in itself is a big deal.
I tell you something. I believe that flat Earth, I don't want to drive you crazy, but flat Earth is going to bring, Earth, to realize the truth on everything at all levels, including the truth on death and the truth on immortality. Because in the beginning, man was not supposed to die. It was built as God, immortal. He fucked up and he became mortal. I don't want to get into the details because I don't understand them even. But the thing is that natural death is not natural. It's a disease.
Oh yeah,
created by man.
Sam, you don't remember I was mentioning few podcasts back that we have technology inside us that we don't live for more than 80 to 100 or 100 something
Exactly.
years,
Yes,
because our ancestors and even some of the messengers or prophets or whatever you want to call them were living few hundred years.
Exactly.
Right.
We know that.
So when we were discussing about this extra land and the possibilities of technology, right? So a technology of this, what this realm is, and technology, biotechnology inside us that has manipulated that we don't continue, because if that gene or that DNA is put back to its right place, 200, 300, 500 years, right, wouldn't be a problem. Anyway, guys, we have this a bit here to continue a bit. If no, we're gonna be so much off track. Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
It's a fake plane. A Microsoft guy has a. They do a laser beam plane. It's I got a whistleblower. I can't say his name because if I do, they'll know who he is and they'll come after him. As if just saying that alone wouldn't tell you who it was.
The reference point is a physical reference, not something in the sky. We don't want to deny, okay, but just because it's in the sky, we're not going to take it into consideration. We all have.
Listen to what he says here, because this is what they fail to realize, right? So remember, he just said the lights in the sky don't dictate the shape of the ground, and nobody's saying that. People are saying that you can falsify a map because of what Vikka is about to say.
To understand that a real model should include the luminaries.
Right.
I am one of the biggest guys who want to say always that they should include the luminaries. That's why with the Antarctica mechanism, because a land or a map can be different variations and can be put in any way. And these people can put it around a ball, right?
No.
But they cannot really show in real time with all the luminaries, right? And our model, okay, we don't agree or have to agree with AE. Some people agree with AE map, Gleason, or whatever. But it's just a map, right? A flat map. What completes the model is the luminaries above.
So whoever is telling you that the globe does not have a model, I don't know where they got this from. I don't know when they started saying this or when they picked this up. It's just wrong. Where he says they can't show you in real time where all the luminaries are. Well, yes, they can. But I mean, if you're talking about when it's daytime, I mean, the stars are not going to be seen from Earth, but we know where they're at.
Together, working in perfect. Yeah, so this is the thing, right? Just saying or drawing on an animation is not going to show that it's a model, right? Or painting of a solar system is not going to work as a model. When we say what is a model, means you have the Earth and you have the luminaries in their real positions, as you see above in the sky, doing in a scale model, right? Like the Antikythera mechanism shows the exact position of all the luminaries in real time. An analog machine from 2000 years ago, known as cosmograph, is showing you in real time where is every luminaries, when is the equinox, solstice, eclipses, lunar, solar, metonic cycle, all the different cycles and everything in one device based on a geocentric stationary Earth, with how these luminaries and orbs work and create these phases and these eclipses, because it's all light phenomena. This is shown on an analog device made out of 30 gears from 2000 years ago. That's our model, right? If you're speaking about your global heliocentric model, right, why don't you show us on a scale model, right? Just drawing a picture of a sun with all the other planets and showing us CGI from NASA, all this stuff is not going to work as a model. It's very clear. When I say that the map has nothing to do with the model, yeah, a map is independent. The ground is independent from the sky, but the sky is also important to be in the model. That's what I mean. It is what I'm trying to say, right? On a globe, first of all, it's not fitting on the globe. The continents, the way you guys want it to, first of all, and then come the luminaries, right? Nothing is making sense on your globe with all your luminaries, right? Your sun is too big, right? Doing crazy shit in all different directions, right?
Yeah,
These
these
people want to
guys
speak about model. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
Aaron,
these
bro.
guys are just trying to. They're doing their best to make it work. And something Saab said earlier is like right on point, where he said they need to continue to feed the BS, because if they don't, here's the thing: is if say we just stop, and even the Globers stop talking about the Earth being a globe, they don't put it in the books or anything like that. If they just stopped, you know what people are going to say that this place is? They're going to say it's flat. If they just stopped talking about this globe, they would say it's flat. So the thing is, they need to continue to feed that beast. They need it's almost like you guys are familiar with the SR-71, right? I'm sure with us being flat earthers, everybody's pretty well versed in the SR-71. One of the things about the SR-71 is that in order for it to be ready to fly, it needs to be on the ground and it needs to be consistently filled with fuel. Like you can't let like a normal airplane, you can't just fill it up with fuel and just let it sit there. SR-71 has to have a hose attached to it with fuel constantly being pumped into it in order for it to be ready to fly. Whereas I could go to a P3 or an EP3, fill it up with gas and just let it sit there. It will not leak. You understand? I could go there after a week. I could come back and it's still got enough juice in the plane and I could fly it as if I just put fuel in it. SR-71 doesn't work that way. That concept is basically akin to, it's the same thing, is they have to continue to fuel the globe, because just like Truth Trollette just says in the chat, it constantly leaks. It doesn't hold fuel. It doesn't hold water because it's not true. It's full of holes, basically. So if they stop talking about it, if they don't continue to drive the points home, and what we're doing is we're putting more holes in their story. We're exposing these holes, and we're making it known to everybody that the shit don't work, y'all. It's full of holes. Look at all these holes. More holes. It's holy as hell. Go ahead.
That's why it's possible that they're trying to turn us into fuel, because look at us. We're talking about them now, because they come, they just think about it. These guys like David Weiss, Mark Sargent, Campanella, those are like very busy people that have like, hundreds of thousands of viewers, and they're talking all over the place. It's very hard to catch them. It's very hard to talk to them. But hey, they're taking the time to come to see us and to go into our show and to talk about us. So what the fuck? How come we're so important for them suddenly? What's going on here? You understand? It's not normal. They shouldn't even look at us. They're so fucking big. You understand?
They've got these
there's
huge channels, these big platforms. Like, we're so insignificant. Why even bother with us? Why are we bothering there?
They need to transfer to transfer us as as fuel, because again, if we talk about them somehow, it's also good for them. Just like if they talk about us. You understand? It's a game. It's like it's a kind of a game, and in that game, they're trying to make us believe that they are divided, and
Oh
this is
yeah,
bullshit. I don't believe it. I don't
they're
believe that at all.
telling us we want money, and I'm like, what money? I'm like, what money do we like? What money? Where's this flat Earth money at? That I'm. Where is this? I ain't got no app. I ain't got nothing. You know what I do have? I got a bunch of stickers that I give away for free. I've got things that I give to people.
But hey, you can tell them don't throw it. There will come a time where flat Earth is going to generate a lot of money, fucking billions, and we're going to use every one of these billions because we're going to need them, in order to just take over this whole shit.
We're going to flatten that globe, man, once and for all. We're going to roll them out like cookie dough.
Oh man,
yeah,
like fucking brownies.
Yep, guys, I got a jet. It is time to do stuff, and I got to be out of here. But it's been real, chat. It's been real. Love y'all, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Oh yeah, bro. Thanks for passing by. Yep, we just have a bit of here to finish, and yep, we are also alrighty. inspection. That's what a real model should include, right? I think it's secondary. What is the maps? Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with, and this is coming from a guy who's trying to model our realm. I think
subscribe to the model of the sun going over the disk. There can be no 24-hour sun. It's not a possibility on a flat Earth model, and both Jiren and Whitsitt have both said that.
No, that's not true.
Not true.
But that's what he's going with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was saying a minute ago. Is one of the reasons they're taking such a hit is because they're being misrepresented by these globe zealots.
Yep.
Globe zealots. Let's look up real quick what zealot means, because I wonder if that resembles one side or the other better. Let's take a look. Maybe I'm wrong. I just want to look at the exact definition. Let's go to like Merriam-Webster or something. Here we go. Zealot definition and meaning. We've got a fanatical person. A member of a fanatical sect. Oh, this says arising in Judea. Not really what I'm talking about there. But thank you, Merriam-Webster, for that great defining moment. Cambridge Dictionary, see if we get any more from them. A person who has very strong opinions about something and tries to make other people have them too. Well, I guess both sides would be considered zealots. Although one side is pushing something that's not true and now teaching that to children. And that is causing breakups of families and marriages and friendships and brother, sister, aunt, uncle.
You see the
hearing the bullshit. Yeah.
You see the tactic. It's exactly like the drunk debunk show said on Ironworks, podcast. He became so concerned with flat Earth since the day flat earthers came and approached his children and started talking to them, about flat Earth. Like, how they approach that pedophile, type of shit. They're trying to make us look like people that are dangerous for children. Can you fucking believe it? That means that's who they are, and they're trying to put that on us. This is fucking crazy. And now Jiren, is playing that card again. Why?
Oh yeah, so flat Earth is breaking family too, right? This is what he's trying to put it out there.
Yeah, of course.
Don't you think it's the opposite? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. Why don't they go straight and say that we are terrorists or dangerous for the society? We represent a clear and present danger. Those motherfuckers.
Yeah, but this is all tactic to show that he's been a victim. Flat Earth community has made him, given him all the negative, and he's been a victim of the flat Earth. Like this is pure acting, guys. This is all for the documentary and to make flat Earth look shit. That's what it is. This is real acting, because if he was able to act and fool most of the community for 10 years, he's a very good actor. And he's continuing to be a very good actor.
At one point, I think that Vlad is right, is that we should ignore them. Totally ignore them. We don't give a fuck what they say, what they do, what documentary they do. We don't give a shit. We just have to go and follow our own agenda. Not that we know that the Earth is flat, and just ignore them. Because, at one point when you think about it, it's just like it gives them strength, for them to talk with us and to, just let's ignore them. It's possible. It's a good, maybe a good tactic. Just totally ignore them. If they want to talk to us, they have to fucking pay. No problem. Just pay a lot of money and just we can talk to you 20 minutes. But, because it's like, it doesn't go nowhere. It's just like, it's like loss of energy. It doesn't go nowhere. These people are like fucking liars. They're fucking degenerates. Just fuck them. Just let them die. Let them just die in their own juice. Fuck them. That's the way I see it now.
I never thought that
that kind of stuff. And if you say that to,
yeah, sorry, go ahead, Rich.
I never. Maybe life is this simple, the way businesses work, because I never thought flat Earth would be like a business. Because obviously, we've seen it really appears to be that Jiren and Whitsitt were just just like these Disney stars and everything. They get them as kids, and they they program them to do what they want, and it just seems I hate to say it, but I don't want to bring other names in that people still like, but we know all the original suspects, the viral people, that, you know, they were viral from 10 years ago, right off the right. I didn't like find Jiren on my own, you know, that shit popped up on YouTube. I started with Math Powerlands, and I was watching, before that, I was watching this insane, crazy JFK shit that was like 8 fucking hours long, right? And then that was the original one I saw, like in like 2015. And then it got me to Matt Powerland, and he was talking about, you know, like he painted the globe pics for NASA and stuff. And so then the algorithm of YouTube then sent me to Dubai, and I got to Dubai, and then that sent me to Sargent, and then it sent me to Jiren, and I ultimately landed, I think I might have landed on Jiren right after Powerland. I think, yeah, I did. So I saw Sargent and Dubai after. So the algorithm of YouTube was promoting Jiren above Dubai and Sargent. Yeah. So that kind of relationship is there's gas behind it. There's push. So
of course,
Jiren above the even above like the huge guys like Sargent and Dubai, even those huge monsters, right? Jiren got pushed first, because I distinctly remember that right after Matt Powerland, and he was talking about that he painted the pictures for NASA, and they didn't really Powerland really didn't, they didn't get to him, they didn't promote him because he was sloppy. He was sloppy, he was drunk on drugs and shit, and he was too flaky. They couldn't keep him in line. You know, even if I don't even know if they tried. You know, and to some degree they must have, because he worked for NASA, right? Or he says he worked for NASA. But the whole thing is, I definitely saw Jiren right after Powerland. So that was the algorithm. So there was, you know, Jiren has been on the handled, I guess you would say. Jiren has been he's been in contact with the people controlling him. A lot of people, he'll probably laugh at it. He'll probably say I'm an asshole, and everybody like, oh, that Rachel, that's fucking stupid, the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. But it's just the backstories seem of Jiren, you know, the backstory of, he says how he got into flat Earth is just so stupid. You know, it's not believable. It's not believable at all. You know, he worked for CVS, and then, you know, the company he worked for got bought by CVS, and then he became manager of CVS, and he was having beef with the corporate. So he's like, I don't like the way it's doing, so I'm out of here. And with his wife, he's like, oh, we're gonna make a bookstore, you know, like a bookstore. We're gonna sell books and shit. And you know, meanwhile, he's got at least one kid at the time, maybe two. I think it was one. And then he said, like, you know, this is just red flags for me. You know, he said, like, one day, you know, I was talking to, was it Missy, his wife, Missy, or Missa, or something like, her name is Missa or Missy. I think it's Missa or what. But like, oh, I was talking to my wife, and she's like, you know, I was like doing the dishes or something random, and she says, like, oh, honey, do you think the Earth could be flat? And I'm like, no, that didn't happen. You know, like,
well,
we know that didn't happen.
That's just the way we talked before. You know, it's too complicated to be true. It's like,
yeah, like this is, you know, back in the day, I was in Guy World, and I was married. You know, I'm married to she forget it. I'm not getting into her. But if I would say something like, oh, flat Earth, you know, Noelle, do you think the Earth is flat? She'd be like, you're a fucking idiot, you know? She's like, what are you, retarded? You know, that's what your wife would say. There's no believable scenario that your wife says to you, oh, honey, do you think the Earth could be flat? Is this never going to happen? And be like, oh, honey, I was thinking of, you know, quitting my job and just, you know, and just doing videos on YouTube. Like, oh, that's great, honey. You know, like, oh, good idea. You know, we have we have kids and shit, but you know, that's a great fucking idea.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. It's
just the backstory is not believable. It's completely not believable. Yeah. It's stupid.
It's too fabricated. It's fabricated.
Yeah. I just don't buy. And now he's so he's so not that I mean, occasionally it'll pop up. I'll click on it for like a second just to see how he's bashing us now. But I don't stay on it and listen to that guy, at all. But his attitude, the way the way he speaks, and he's just and right off the bat, he was just like, oh, flat earthers don't have a model. They don't have a model now because we proved the model wrong. And he goes, you know what everybody else has as a working model? The globe. That's their model. I'm like, wow. This guy just got that from seeing the fucking sun. he went that far just because he saw the sun. Like it's all sketchy.
It shows you how flat earth is scary for them. How they're willing to invest so much to groom people for like years and years in order to turn on us. So those are big operations. I don't believe it's just happened like this. I believe it was planned for like years and years. And there are other things that are planned. They're not finished. We're gonna have other surprises, I believe. But they're gonna fail like the rest of them. They're gonna fail. They cannot win. They're in a no-win situation. These people, they cannot stop the truth. They can just delay the truth. They can just they can try to hurt us, but they cannot just stop us. It's not possible. That's why at that point I'm saying there's no point talking to them because it's like lots of time. We're just losing time, energy. Maybe we should think about going forward with what we have and try to
definitely we have to distance ourselves from them and try to rebuild what
do you remember that movie Merlin? I don't know if you saw that. It's a movie like for 30 years ago. And that there was a witch there, a very powerful witch, and at the end of the movie, the people around her decided just to ignore her. Just, they said to her, "Okay, we're not going to do nothing to her. We're not going to kill you. We're just going to forget you." And then she got crazy and she disappeared. She just she just vanished. And that's the thing, if we just don't give these guys any attention at one point. They're just gonna vanish because, like Vlad said, they need us as fuel. That's what I believe that they're trying to use us for. They need us. Without us, they're nothing. So we should make them pay. That's not a bad idea. We should make them pay for.
It's just
talking to us. Yes.
and these people, who got on early with YouTube and approached it as a business. These people. They see other podcasters, just rise and they have millions of followers and now they own like a house and a nice car and all this shit and they're going on vacation and it's all on fucking YouTube. They see that and then they see that I'm never going to get that. I'm never going to get to that level because I'm a flat earther. So the only way, because if you notice, like I always say, alternative media is actually the big alternative media, like the Tim Pools and all the other assholes. They get huge. If you listen to what they say, they're saying mainstream media shit. They're saying the exact same thing. They're not saying anything fringe. They're just put a cap on, act a little ghetto, smoke some pot, and think you're cool. Have like a coffee shop vibe or like fuck it vibe, and like, oh no, we're down with the people. We're young people. We're not fucking boomers. We're not this. Oh, it's not Walter Cronkite. Like, oh, we're the young hip. And like Joe Rogan started that shit. So they see that, but really, if you analyze what they're saying, they're just saying mass media. They're saying corporate media shit, but they're doing it trying to be cool and smoke pot and curse, and they think they're edgy, and it's like a different vibe because it's like, oh man, we're sitting across the table, or oh, we're drinking some beer or smoking some pot. It's theater, but the theater just changed the props. It changed the props for a different generation, and so like Jiren especially because. Like YouTube was pushing his stuff, right after Powerlands, and then eventually probably was more than Powerland, pretty quickly. But it's just these people, they realize they're all these people who tried to make money off, make a YouTube a business. They looked and they saw people who are pushing mass stream media and making fun of flat earthers, especially. They saw people making fun of flat earthers, and they're like living large. And if you push flat earth, you're then now you're going completely against mass media and being a truther in general. Everything that we know is fake and staged and everything. We can't even say that, because we ever say that. None of these people would have ever gotten to where they are if they pushed flat earth, if they said that everything was fake. And Rogan, that could have been part of the script too, where he said, when he was pushing the moon landings, like, oh, how could that happen? That's so stupid. It's so corny. Like, look at him. It's obviously a TV studio and all. He said that. And then he said, if someone offers me money, I'll push the moon landings. And that's exactly what happened. And that could have been part of the script too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The game is on from a very long time. And yeah, it was strange for me too. Like, Jiren was popping out from nowhere, right? So yeah, without even looking, absolutely. Before we continue, SD Utsap, how are you?
Oh, what's up, people? Thank you for having me here, Vikka. I love what you're doing, and I don't want to interrupt, so you good. You continue.
Alrighty,
I talked a ton, so somebody else talk. Thank you.
Right. So we'll try to finish this. It's a bit left.
Christian, they'll fire back and say, "Oh well, Jesus came to turn father against son," and oh, geez, I guess you're right.
Just like they always do.
From 2 hours ago? Boy, must be a lot of air traffic, man. A lot of air traffic.
I mean,
this is supposed to be
even at the ground level, there's like a fog and a haze that wasn't there before.
I forgot why I recorded this. We'll watch for a second. I forgot what this guy's in Antarctica and he's looking at the sky. And I think it's because Dave says something about whether or not you can fake the sun.
Yeah, it's just not as clear.
It is summer here, so the sun doesn't set. This is as bright or as dark as it's getting throughout the day.
Oh, Vikka says something stupid here.
And yeah, I mean, it's still perfectly easy to see. Don't need any lights or anything like that going on.
Can anybody
in Antarctica looks like?
Can anybody show me an example of somebody speaking in any brightness or darkness at 6 degrees, -6 Celsius, where there's not fog coming out of every breath?
Oh yeah, the fog and the breath
ever
thing.
happen?
Not that I've ever seen.
So at this point, you guys just it's a joke. It's a joke. And I know we're not covering this very long. I just wanted to bring up these couple points because I think it shows, again, before and after, how things have changed and how basically these guys just talk about moving the goalposts. That's what they've done. That's the game. And as long as you keep doing that, then guess what? You'll never be proven wrong. So it's a great belief to have, that you just have this belief, and anytime somebody proves it wrong, you just say they didn't, or that we don't look at that kind of evidence, or it doesn't change anything, or it doesn't matter, or it's a nothing burger, or...
Yeah, it is a nothing burger for sure. The goalpost, who's moving the goalpost? Who is doing that? Who has been doing that? The Globers, right? And I think he knows very well.
Well, it's so important for them to let us know, how divided they are. And this is what I saw. I don't see no other points into making that video besides making us believe that, they are divided, that they're not together in on it. It's so fucking important for them. If not, what's the point of the video? What is the point? What is the title of the video? What does he want to prove?
And I want to add up with you. There's something we flat earthers make mistakes too, because we come from different backgrounds. So we all have our, basic of flat earth. Some would go with leveling of earth, right? Okay, everything is horizontal, so there's no curvature. Somebody will go back to NASA. Oh, look, they're faking it all. That's why flat earth is important. But I think we need to have a base, similar base, and let's say this is fucking reason why earth is flat. It's not. If we have that one thing straight up with all the flat earthers, let's say, in a 1 year or two, 90% of the problem will be gone. Because you're only talking about Antarctic sun, or looking at the sky, but you'll be looking at
what we are talking about. We are doing it a little bit. We have started to work on it. You're talking about a chart, like a chart of flat Earth. Bringing all because there's not only just like one proof that the Earth is flat. There are many. So we should be at one point doing like some kind of a chart to define, what
this is the basic. Okay, you can't go no to this one. You can't.
Exactly.
Religious, spiritual.
I agree with you. It's like the 10 commandments of the flat Earth. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. We can do this. Of course, a chart.
Yeah.
We should do it. We're gonna work on it. We started working on it, but not exactly.
Yeah. In this way, nobody can say we changed the goalpost. Because you say, oh, some flat earthers say this one, some flat earthers say this one, brother. It's all the same. It's all the points. You're looking at first, or second, or third. You're all the same.
Exactly. I personally don't need like 1,000 proofs. I just need like one proof. What convinced me is the when you zoom on the on the boat and the boat comes back up on the surface.
No curvature.
On the water.
No curvature.
That's enough for me. That's enough. Goodbye. Go home. It's over. It's enough. I don't need more than that. You understand? Plus, when you know that NASA is lying and everything, so that's enough. That's enough. But again, we need to find more and more argument in order to recruit more and more people. But you're right. I believe that we should make at one point a chart of flat Earth, with all the points that are being, the facts that
so
define
the
Earth.
Flat Earth Society, right? The Flat Earth Society. So
yeah, it's a fake shit.
Yeah, people are gonna be misunderstanding Flat Earth Society with lizard flat earthers, because they're gonna point out, oh look, this is what we got on the internet. Wow, this is it. We can just revoke that in a minute.
Yeah, you got a point.
Alrighty, guys. A couple of minutes more.
They lied, or they faked it, or they stole, or they cheated, or Will Duffy has financial crimes. Jiren's a pervert. Wit's at this. We don't even know who Costa is. It's just, you name it, they can say it. And it doesn't matter who they have to throw under the bus. Obviously, there's best guys. The guys that there's a 0% chance that they get compromised. If those guys go down there and they say something, well, we'll just throw them under the bus. Doesn't matter if there was negative % chances.
Like any one of his breaths, you don't see any...
Zero.
Right. So you could go look up in the Googles if you want. Just type in, why don't I see my breath in Antarctica? Just give it a try. See what happens.
Zero.
Then it would start to freeze to his mustache and everything like you'd think it would.
What would?
Yeah.
Any moisture would.
Right. Any moisture. Guess what there isn't any of in Antarctica? Anybody want to guess? If there was any moisture, then we would see your breath. We're in Antarctica. There's no breath. Therefore, there might not be any.
Grab a hold of you and freeze.
It's midday. And if this, yeah.
So how come there is so many other videos of people in Antarctica with the fucking breath? It's bullshit.
They went on the magic,
Checkmate.
one magic week where it was t-shirt weather in Antarctica.
Yeah,
it's so freaking fake. Yeah.
They fucking. It thinks we're like fucking like Mongolians or something. I don't think that they used to deal with Mongolians or some shit. Our eyes are not like this. Do you see my eyes like this, you motherfucker?
Gift shop. Okay, that was enough for me when he said there was a fucking gift shop. When he showed like, oh, look at the snow and it's like freshly raked. Like, when they clean the beach, they rake the beach. So it's freshly raked snow. And he said that you could ride bikes and that there was a gift shop. I mean, that was enough for me.
Alrighty.
We don't see anything on his phone.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the reflection too.
Over in that direction, but because it's midday now, the sun is over there behind me. So.
Whoops! Did I pause it? Oh no!
So you guys heard what he said, right? Right now it's midday. The sun is behind him, and at midnight he's claiming the sun is opposite him.
Right.
12 hours.
Yep.
Difference. The sun have to be present to see in front of him.
Correct.
I don't think it's gonna set. And let's continue.
No setting.
Exactly the opposite place in the sky where it normally would be. I've had a bunch of people ask me to show the sun at midday, so here it is. Normally, it's over there at midnight or later on in the evening, but because it's midday, it's over here.
Later on in the evening.
Vikka, let me explain something to you. That when you are there, you still have in your head and by ways of food and sleep, evening, morning, afternoon, still stays the same. So he can say evening, my friend. Okay, what he means is later than 5 p.m. or something. It doesn't mean it has to be dark outside. Okay, so I said night. Oh, it's over there in the night. Well, I don't mean night like it's in darkness. I meant night as in sleepy time, sleepy bye-byes time. Okay, this is not difficult to figure out. I hate the people who sit at their house with...
Yeah, this is the thing. He just says thing, and the people just says thing, but it means something else. Same like the Globers, like always. You know, you don't see the curve, but it's there, right?
Yeah.
The same
You
way
have to
of putting
believe.
things.
The programming.
It's faith. It's just faith.
Yeah,
You have to have faith.
It's
It's a
programming.
conversion.
The childhood
You have to-
fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same way when he said in that Steve's video that the sun sets there, right? He just said it. Maybe he meant the sun sits there, right? Whatever, but he just said that, right? But he meant something else, right? So the same thing.
being critics and who don't understand that it's okay if somebody slips and says evening doesn't mean it's dark.
Okay.
How could it be later on in the evening? Yeah.
Look how high in the sky it is. Where the hell is he? How could it be that high in the sky
He's in Antarctica.
at any point?
Dave, tell me you don't know anything about the globe Earth without telling me you know nothing about the globe Earth.
At midday, it would be at its highest point in the sky.
Right.
But what is the highest point? What did he say? What day of the month it was?
Yeah, because I remember watching Dave Vikka when I was sending you those videos from Everyday Antarctica. Apparently, when the sun is rising around September, you just see it grazing up above the horizon, and then like December, November, it's at its highest.
Yeah.
And then at April, it starts to set again. It gets low again. So there's
no way that it could be that high in the sky. Look how high it is. That's like my summer sun here in Connecticut.
Yeah, really. Exactly. It's a good point. It's really high.
Yeah, well, midday, even in the flat Earth model, that where a 24-hour sun happens, the closer you get to the winter solstice, the higher the sun would be in the sky at midday.
Yeah.
On point of apex or directly above you
Oh, here we
during
go.
the winter solstice.
Now Joe's saying that the sun is right above you during the winter solstice. So obviously got to bring out the PD Earth again.
Just visually. But again, we have to remember we have an apparent sun.
Oh, please
not a
remember that.
physical sun.
Please remember apparent sun, not physical.
Yeah.
Yep. So what can I
So
tell
yeah,
you?
that was that clip was from yesterday from Jiren. Yeah.
So conclusion, the objective of that clip is clearly to show that there are divisions between them. I don't see no other objective, for that clip to occur, especially coming from people that are so busy, that have so many, viewers and so many, things to do, to spend the time, and to involve us, with your podcast, into that shit. That's the thing, is that they have to, just like David Weiss said, and I think he was right. It's might be all about him, That means that the thing is that the only one that has to be saved now is David Weiss, because that's the only one that has to be. They have to pull out like a free a free from jail card. That means that it's very important to make sure that people do not believe that Jiren and David Weiss are in on it. So the thing is that David Weiss always says is that, look, they invited me and I refused to go. So if I had gone there, what would have happened? So that's the argument he uses in order to, to sell that. But, if he was in on it with Jiren, it would have been very easy for them to stage all that shit in order to get that card there. That means, okay, you invite me, I refuse, and then we can use that argument in order to, make sure that, if something, goes wrong, I don't get involved because I have that card there. But this is bullshit. It can be bullshit. I don't know if it is, but I believe it is, because there's so many incoherency with, with his attitude and everything he's saying, that I have force and I have to, to come to the conclusion. Even though I like Dave because he's like, he's lovable, he's likable, he's fucking great. He has energy. He does a lot of things, but it's not a license to fuck us. It's not a license to lie to us. It's not a license to to play us for fools. Yeah, it's not. You understand? So even though I believe we all owe him somehow, because he's the one. He's one of the guys that contributed for me to come to Flat Earth also. But again, that's not a license to betray. It's not a license to So this is where we have to be strong and go according to what's true. Always stick with the truth, and not with the feelings. Not with that's the way I see it. So again, that thing for me is just to make sure that people believe that Jiren is not with David Weiss and not with anybody else. It's like they're like divided. That's the fucking point.
I don't know, brother. For me, is these days you can't trust no one. After 6 months, you'll have a pop-up video and you're like, what the fuck just happened? I mean,
exactly.
Just 6 months ago, you are okay, you are lying, you're doing great.
Well, I tell you yes and no, because on one side you have to be very careful of who you trust, but then on the other side, it helped us also to regroup and to make the difference between the liars and the ones that don't lie. So now we are regrouping, with Vikka, with Vlad, with me. We small. I'm a small guy. I'm the smallest guy. Like
the same one.
But the thing is that we're small, but we are regrouping, and actually it seems that it's working because these guys are like now gravitating around us. Suddenly they're like come in, join us. They want to talk to us. They're like addressing to us because this is a message for us. That video is a message for us because it talks about Vikka, about Jean. It's a video for us.
I would say in this way too. See, none of a Vikka or Jean or anybody put together in this video or this podcast have done anything commercial. Let's say Generism. When I contacted him, he had me for money. He was like, okay, this is a pen drive. This has flat out video documentary for this $. This is a DVD. The whole documentary. This is. They were all commercial, way or another, whether you like it or not. They were kind of earning money and spreading of flat earth together. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You can earn money. Go ahead, man.
No problem.
It's good, no problem. But here's the thing: whenever you earn money, at least think about the community that's coming next, right? Whosoever is coming next, they won't know everything all at once. There are people waking up right now, right at the moment. Maybe some of them might be watching this video. They might be coming up. They don't know about Freemason. They don't know about there is a propaganda. They don't know about the 5G radiation. They don't know about anything, to be honest. After Flat Earth, I have not seen any person non-awake to the globe, solar system, 5G, all the history and everything. And then we take okay, you're from this country, you're from this, this land. Okay, you're flat earther, I'm flat, right? Okay, let's go from there. What do you know?
Oh yeah, guys.
What do you know?
This is the thing. This is gonna be a continuous series of what is gonna come and the way this is gonna play out, right? I just played this because somebody pointed to me that this was uploaded yesterday because I really don't watch Jiren anymore, right? So somebody pointed me out and I saw it and I just wanted to share it with the people. Like, what the hell is going on? Anyway, guys, we are almost 3.5 hours. I started late today, and I have to start wrapping it up. We are short with time now. So, Rachel, you want to go ahead? Your last thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to say my this one last thing. There's factions. There's factions of Flat Earth, and there's the original suspects. We got Sargent, we got Eric Dubé, Jiren, Powerlands and stuff. But Powerlands too flaky, he's out of it. But the thing is, we can't mix up the people who are opportunists with the original people who could be handled. Because I don't think David Weiss is handled, but David Weiss is an opportunist and he's a businessman. He's not one of the original people in Flat Earth, but he saw the momentum of Flat Earth. He saw that, like, oh, I see a bunch of fucking chumps. Like, I see a bunch of fucking chumps here, and like they'll buy if it says Flat Earth, they'll buy into it. So I'll make an app And it's, supposedly, if I'm wrong, I don't know if I'm wrong, but I heard he sold like 200,000 apps. So that's $600,000, right? So David Weiss he's got a vested interest in pushing flat Earth, and he's never going to go against that because that app could be selling forever. Who the fuck knows? But so the one weird thing that no one ever, I don't think too many people have been talking about, is that Jiren said that he got Jiren and Sargent said that they got letters from Patricia Steer officially. She said, okay, I'm officially leaving Flat Earth, and sent them letters. I thought that was completely batshit crazy. But yeah, but thanks for having me on, and it was a great show. Thank you.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah,
Mark.
Rachel. Yep. Thanks. And yeah, it was awesome input from your side. Absolutely. SD, last thoughts, brother.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Your last thoughts before we
Oh, my
wrap it up. We are
last thought
almost.
would be, hey, if you're just watching this video and you're waking up to flat Earth, don't be scared. Don't be, don't have that inferiority complex or superiority complex that you know everything. Because people, when they come into flat Earth, they find out totally different information, messing it up with their belief, culture, tradition, and where you live. And some people will start going on, okay, Saturn is Satan. Okay, there's a Satan ruling us. There's this, that. Just for a minute, have a flat Earth community, stop building, and friends that are waking up to the reality, and stop believing like Zerism and all other flat earther that was supposed to be. Just reconsider us for a minute or two. That's it. Shout out.
Oh yeah,
Shout out to Vikka
absolutely.
again.
Thanks, Gustav. And yeah, as I said in many of my podcasts, many have been seeing this even before the TFE. The TFE only helped it to that the people can start doing things, something about it, right? So this community is not stupid, right? Many just are passively just absorbing whatever is being put out, good, right, bad, wrong, legit, not legit, whatever, right? People are just seeing it, right? And very few are there who actively want to do something about it, right? But yeah, it's just how it's playing out. And it's time, but it's a long time that it's been so much out of the right way, right? The community, right? So much of gatekeeping in a way, right? So yeah, this is never ending, brother. So absolutely. Sam, last thoughts.
No, just quickly, just to tell you that we are on the right track, because if we see these people coming and gravitating around us, Jiren, David Weiss, Mark Scherz, and everybody else, that means that, sorry, we're doing something right. That's very simple. And when we analyze their attitude, their reaction, so again, we can understand, what their messages are, and again, that we becoming very important. That little cell of people here, discussing between us is very important. We are being, we're on the right track. That's all.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
keep on
brother.
doing the good job. Anyways, good work. It's good to be here, and looking forward to meet you again here, and talk some more.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. Thanks for being here and your time, brother, and all your input. Awesome
care.
as always. Yep. Utsab, what were you saying? Something?
Oh, by God, let this channel be not censored, or YouTube just take it all away. That's all, bro. Because Elon
Oh
Musk
yeah.
is all over the place. The AI and the internet censorship. I hope they don't
Oh yeah.
censorship the channel that we've been, or there is a shadow banding thing going on. So I hope that does not affect us in any way, and people will get to us, whether they maybe in a pop-up button or an ad, whatever that is. Let's hope
Brother, we are already so much shadow banned and censored that they cannot do more. This is the thing, because if they were given us even a 10% of freedom of what they are giving to people, who have in their agenda, the things would be different. But it's also about
Yeah.
different platforms, different way, different things, right? So, yep. Anyway, guys, it just depends also, right? Maybe these channels are here very big, but on other platform they are almost nothing. So it's just difference of different everywhere, right? So anyway, guys, there you have it for today. This is a never-ending story with these people. For sure, they're gonna be coming up with more new shit to trigger people and yeah. So this series continue because, as I said, if Jiren wouldn't have flipped, this documentary would have been very difficult because all this money put into it, and Jiren is not gonna be there. The movie is not gonna sell, and rest of the everyone, the the special appearance of the rest of the gang. We see how many is gonna be flipping in that documentary and making us look a second hit piece, guys. So yep. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you everybody who was on the panel tonight.
Take care. Take it
Sam,
easy on me.
Vlad,
Bye.
RG. There were many people. Keith. Alrighty. If I miss somebody, Rachel, right? And yeah. So let's see how this goes. And yep. Thanks everybody in the chat. Awesome chat today, and for being here and spending your time. So this is because I'm signing out, guys. See you next week. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Take it easy. Take care. Thanks to you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.